Alrighty folks, hello there. This is Alan recording another comprehensive Magic the Gathering Arena Draft video. Let's finally get some double feature in our channel. The season just restarted, so we are back at a Platinum Tier 4. Won a couple of games already doing some of the double feature. I think the last one I went 5-3, so couldn't get past the Platinum Tier 4. But other than that, yeah, we need to get more stuff going, and it's a new season, so maybe we can try to hit top 10 Mythic again. Unfortunately, double feature doesn't reward us with the most lucrative prizes since we don't get any packs, and it takes at least 5 wins to make back most of our gems, unlike Premier Draft, which get us up to at least 1.4k gems when we reach 4 wins and also 3 packs. But this is pretty much the least expensive way to do so, since if you're going to do this in real life at a paper store, at a store and doing this on paper, it can range up from $25 to $30 just for the set, and the value really, I don't think it's worth it. So without further ado, let's dive right on in, do some double feature draft. And I think it's pretty fun. Definitely blue stands out as the color that I want to be in the most. Of course, we're not going to take Organ Hoarder Pack 1 Pick 1 over an Insane Bomb Rare, since the power of the cards of the colors are pretty high in this format, since it's combined with the Crimson Vow Bombs, and obviously 2 sets combined. So we'll see, but I've been mostly drafting blue, and it's been pretty successful. Blue-white, blue-black, I think, are the best 2 archetypes to be in, but you can still get away with red-white, even red-green. I've seen a couple of other high-level drafters do this already, and they've been successful with other alternative colors that weren't amazing in both sets. But yeah, you can never go wrong drafting blue, I think. And then, yeah, personally, in my opinion, blue is the best color here, and then followed by maybe black or white, and then red and green, kind of like they're kind of more weaker ones. But again, you don't want to preference yourself towards avoid a color necessarily, since if you open up like a bomb like Tovolar or Glorious Sunrise, you don't want to avoid green. But green didn't do too well in both sets, given the fact that there was too much ways to punish werewolves, expensive werewolves for cheap. And now with both sets combined, it's a lot harder to really get away with giant werewolves in Crimson Vow. Crimson Vow was fine, but it still suffered from the same problem, just too much cheap interaction going on that can offset the werewolves. But yeah, still we just want to stay open, and hopefully we can eventually get a full pot, since this is the longest I've seen finding a draft table. I guess people are kind of done with this and they want to move on to Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. That's fair enough. But come on, the season just started, and I need to hit my top 10 Mythic again. So yeah, color preference, we want to be blue, mostly Esper, blue-white, blue-black, red-black I think is also solid. Every combination I think is solid. The one that's I'm not a big fan of is obviously green-black, since it was not great in both sets and there's not too much overlapping synergy. Crimson Vow cared about high toughness. Innistrad Midnight Hunt cared about things dying on your end step, or just dying in general, so more of like a pseudo-morbid type of ordeal. So we'll see. 3 minutes to find a draft pot. Hopefully everyone's ready to hit the ready button so we can get started. And there's always going to be people that will fight over our colors, since, again, the power level of this set is really high, so we're bound to not only be the only drafter doing our color pair at the table, and then we could still have a really solid deck. Not every deck with the same 2 colors are going to focus on the same strategy. You could be in a blue-black deck that doesn't have a lot of exploit going on, but maybe more Decayed Zombies. And someone else could also be cutting you off a bit and also drafting a blue-black deck that's not similar. So a lot of different decks, definitely a lot of reasons to stay open, a lot of powerful bombs from Crimson Vow, and then the insane commons in the blue-black in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Okay. Okay, so this is definitely going to take a while. Alright, I mean, it could be late. Right now it is close to 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time while I'm doing this draft. More like 11:36 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So in the US, definitely a lot less people awake at this time of the day. So hopefully maybe tomorrow we're going to have a better turnout. So come on, hit the ready button. You can do it. I believe in you. Just grab that coffee and, swallow it. Yeah, I don't understand how people can join a pod and then just leave it alone. And I guess someone might want to run to the bathroom, but it shouldn't take this long. Well, hopefully the pod fills again. So this is the third queue. I think I've done the third queue before. Not sure about the fourth, but if we need to wait until the fourth queue again, then this will definitely be a new record. FYI, I'm also drinking coffee. So just need to see the final person hit the ready button. And I won't doubt the fact that we will probably have longer searches. So yeah, let's begin. Finally, Pack 1 Pick 1 Premier Draft double feature. What do we have the fine pleasure of opening today? Ooh, Spectral Adversary is definitely a bomb. Yeah, 2 mana 2/1 with flash and flying, and then when it enters the battlefield, essentially like almost every adversary, you can pay the kicker cost, the one generic, and the color any number of times, and then when you do, you get benefits. For this one, not only do you put 1/1 counters onto this, but then you can phase as many artifacts, creatures, or enchantments for the amounts that you paid for. So yeah, Spectral Adversary is definitely the first pick. Other good cards include Hound Tamer, some decent blue-green cards, but I don't want to stay multicolor necessarily. Pack 1 Pick 1, and then at common, Falcon Abomination stands out, Shadow Beast Sighting, and Fierce Retribution are all pretty legitimate picks. Yeah, I'll take Spectral Adversary here. Don't know what my second pick would be. It would definitely be between Falcon Abomination and Hound Tamer, I think. If I'm more biased towards blue, Falcon Abomination is great. If I want to maybe draft some sort of green ramp deck, maybe Hound Tamer has a powerful mana sink, but easy Spectral Adversary, so happy with my first pick, so I don't have to really decide between those two. After taking Spectral Adversary, Hamlet Vanguard, I don't think it's amazing, and if I'm to take the Hamlet Vanguard, I don't think it pairs well with Spectral Adversary. This is going to be at best in a straight-up green-white deck. If you can cast this in a dedicated green-white deck, it's quite powerful. Otherwise, we could just take some role players here. Stitch Assistant is quite nice if we end up blue-black, or with some things we can exploit. Not sure about the dual land here. There shall be Sighting if I want to be in blue-green self-mill, or if I want to be in blue-white flyers, we could take Kindly Ancestor as a decent disturb option. So some interesting options here. I think I just take Stitch Assistance. It's kind of like a preference. Do I want to be in blue-white or blue-black? And personally, I think blue-black has, I think they're both kind of close, but just to stay monocolor, I think I just take Stitch Assistant here. And hopefully we end up in blue X or not even blue black. This has a decent role to play. So let's take Stitch Assistant here. But I could see someone else taking something else here. Alright, best card here is Flame Blessed Bolt. There's also a Siege Zombie, Falcon Wrath Celebrants. If we want to stay mono blue, Flip the Switch is alright. If we have more instant speed to go along with it. Yeah, if we force blue black, we could take Siege Zombie. But the best card overall is by far Flame Blessed Bolt in this pack, and I don't hate blue-red, honestly. Blue-red was pretty good in Crimson Vow. In Midnight Hunt, it wasn't amazing by any means, but we could just take all the good Crimson Vow cards and hope it works together. So, yeah, I don't know. I could just force blue-black with Siege Zombie, honestly, since I think it's also just a very powerful card, if we can make it happen. Very close. I think we just stay open here and take Flame Blessed Bolt just to have some fun. And then, yeah, let's just stay open as long as possible and see where we end up. And then this pack, there's some okay cards here. The black cards aren't necessarily amazing. Purifier I don't want to jump into. I guess if we end up blue-white, I do like Drogskol Infantry as an aura we can get back. Flip the Switch is also fine. Again, if we're playing more instances, it's quite good. And it does keep us monocolored. But I'm down to just take the infantry, just in case we end up blue-white. since it's just such an important card to an important 2-drop to have. So this is kind of like another pack where we're just taking good role players and not necessarily just taking the most powerful card like Purifier, since I just want to stay open. Let's take it here and see if we end up blue-white or blue-red. I don't really like Triskaidekaphile. There is Seize the Storm and Morning Patrol, which stands out. Syncopate is another fine card. Seize the Storm is pretty good in blue-red, but you need to be in a dedicated spells deck. And in Crimson Vow, we don't necessarily end up with a ton of spells with Seize the Storm. Good card, but I might just take a random Morning Patrol, since I'm a big fan of blue-whites, and we already have a Drogskol Infantry. Yeah, I think it's better than staying open here and just taking a Syncopate, which we can always get counter spells later if blue is open. I'll take a Morning Patrol. Blue-white is one of the better archetypes, I think, and I had a lot of success with it. Yeah, this could be a sign we should just be in a blue-white Disturb deck. And this pack is kind of whatever. Alright, I don't really care about Wretched Throng. Even in the Exploit deck, it's kind of whatever. So I guess we could maybe just take a random Blood Pact in case we need some card advantage. Could be reasonable. There's Bloody Betrayal if we, with the Stitch Assistant, if we end up blue-red, which can be kind of cute. If we end up with like a bit of an exploit package. Given the fact that maybe blue has enough card draw, I don't really care about Blood Pack. Could just take the Bloody Betrayal to try to be kind of cute here. And yeah, if we end up with multiple Stitch Assistants and we end up blue-red, it can be an interesting card. Right, there's Epic here and Herrenblast Geist. I guess this is kind of like another color choice situation here. If I end up blue-white, I probably want Herrenblast Geist. Strong-Armed Amalgam is okay for a more grindier deck, but I think if we end up blue-white, we want to just be more evasive. Blue-red doesn't really have any synergy. Doesn't really have an identity. I think with both sets combined, it's kind of whatever. Just a bunch of blue-red good cards. I'm gonna take Herrenblast Geist, since white does look particularly open given past all these white cards, and then now we can maybe take Phantom Carriage over Falkenrath Celebrants as a good top-end flyer that can also put a Disturb card in our graveyard. But red does look open, seeing this late Celebrants, which is quite good. But we'll take Carriage here just to stick with blue. And then Falcon Abomination was a really nice pickup, even wheeled pick 9, so great sign that blue is open and the color we should be in. Also, Shadow Beast Sighting stands out, but Abomination gives us a good flyer and some Decayed, and then yeah, we'll take Kindly Ancestor over Skulker. Skulker's alright, but kind of clunky at 4. Not necessarily a great blocker. Fine Disturb card, but I'd just rather just take a Kindly Ancestor just to have more cheaper stuff to play. Since blue-white is going to have a ton of flyers for the most part, you don't care about the extra evasion, so take an Ancestor, and then late Celebrants here. I don't really care about any of these white cards. In fact, even if we end up blue-white, it's kind of whatever. I'll take a Celebrants here, seeing it's pretty late. There's a chance we maybe end up somewhere else. Let's just take another Bloody Betrayal. Alright, Jeskai seems open, and then we can take a late Syncopate. Also, there's a Seize. Seize is fine, but again, if we end up blue-red, I don't necessarily think it's amazing, since we might have a bunch of too many creatures to really make it work. But it's a good card in Midnight Hunt. That's not necessarily great in Crimson Vow. Here we're just going to take Dollhouse of Horror, just great in any deck. Even though it's best in a blue-black deck where you can reanimate a bunch of Exploiters and get the effect. It's just a good card. Even if we have Disturb cards, sure, we can eventually get the cards out with Disturb, get value out of Disturb, but even then, you know, it's still very good. Otherwise, I'd be looking at maybe Twinblade Geist, which is okay, which could also wheel. There's another Flip the Switch, but Dollhouse is a really nice first pick. And now, could take a Binding Geist, no amazing red cards. Best cards in this pack are like Eccentric Farmer and Siege Zombie. Binding Geist could be alright. Just another Disturb Aura we can get back. Did see a bit of green in the previous pack, but I think after taking all these white cards and seeing them kind of late, I think we're just kind of committed. So I'm down to try out the Binding Geist here. Not a big fan of Griffrider, even though it flies. Binding Geist can maybe allow us to get some synergy going if we end up bringing stuff back from the graveyard, like maybe if we open up an Omnis Roost, it's quite good. And then we'll take an easy Baithook Angler as a good 2-drop for a Disturb deck. Some other fine cards, Startle, Burn the Accursed, but let's take a Baithook Angler. Just go all in this blue-white Disturb deck, and again, have a lot of success with this deck. I think it's definitely one of the better archetypes to kind of pigeonhole yourself in for this format. But again, you should always kind of just stay open. for the most part. I didn't feel like black was particularly open in the last pack. Green seemed a little bit open with Shelby sighting. Red as well, obviously, since we saw late Falconraft Celebrants. Even Hungry Rich Wolf kind of made it to us late in the pack. But again, we were past like Drogsko Infantry, Kindly Ancestor, and yeah, now we get a Valorant Stance as a good removal spell. Also wouldn't mind Blessed Defiance. There's also Bleach Eye, but we'll take a Valorant Stance for sure. So yeah, everything is coming together, so hopefully we get really well rewarded in this draft for kind of figuring out the signals. Even if we cut off one color, the secondary color can still be great. Alright, interesting pack here. We have Trapper, which I don't mind. Just an early play we can play. Not only does it enable Coven if we get some Coven payoffs, but also an interaction spell we could use. Since Blue-White is not necessarily great at killing things, just having a way to tap things down is fine. I guess we can also consider Geistlight Snare. Geistlight Snare is also just really good. We already have a counter spell here. Yeah, you know what? Let's take the Geistlight Snare, I think. Gavany Trapper is fine, but I'm down to just have more stuff that synergizes in Blue-White. Yeah, Snare is pretty good in Blue-White, not gonna lie. Just having a cheap counter spell while you're flying over could be great. Whereas Trapper is really solid too, but still, you have to keep up 2 mana all the time, and that can be kind of awkward. Silversmith is pretty powerful, nice 4-drop, and we're lacking 4s. Plays pretty well flyers, since you can just load up counters everywhere, and the value of this is really great, so Silversmith definitely one of the top white commons in the last set. And then Geistly Snare is just going to be really cheap in this deck, mostly 2 mana, or 3 mana. Or 2 mana or 1 mana for the most part, since we could have some enchantments out on the battlefield. And yeah, I think I like the second Falcon over Memory Deluge. Deluge is okay. It does go into the graveyard, but there's just too much better 4-drops in this format. Scattered Thoughts stands out as a similar effect. There's also Organ Hoarder if we luckily pick up one, so down for just more win conditions, and Falcon is pretty good. We can even consider the Stitch Assistant now to go along with the Decayed Zombies, but I'm fine without the Stitch Assistant. We aren't really trying to exploit in this deck. And yeah, Lantern Bearer versus Overwhelmed Archivist is an interesting choice. Given my mana 3s, as much as I like Overwhelmed Archivist, I think we still take Lantern Bearer as an early evasive threat we could play. And yeah, we can eventually load this onto a creature, so just going to lower the curve here, but Overwhelmed Archivist is excellent. And then we can even play Candle Grove Witch as a random 2-drop. We won't have Coven nearly as much, but sometimes we will have it, and then it just flies over and can deal some damage. There's also Rescue, which is okay, Beguiler, but just going to pick up more 2-drops, and this is more like an expensive card. Pretty late Eccentric Farmer, don't know what this is doing. Pick 10, definitely the Green Organ Hoarder from the last set. I still think we're sticking with Blue-Whites, but I don't care about Otherworldly Gaze, so we'll just take the Farmer here. And then, yeah, I'm not sure if I need another counter spell, just take a Sanctify. If it was best out of 3, I'd still take Sanctify here. And we'll just keep shifting all these other cards, so... Yeah, second pack went pretty well. Our lane was open, and we got well rewarded. And we'll take Dennett here, our powerful bomb rare. Pack 1, pick 1, easy. Blood Vial Purveyor keeps us in single black and just a game-winning bomb if it goes unanswered. But Dennett is quite good, and I also wouldn't mind taking Covet's Castaway if Dennett wasn't in his pack. Yeah, it just becomes a flyer, it's a good early blocker, gains his life. And yeah, this deck is looking awesome. Might not need Binding Geist, I don't think. I'll put it in the sideboard for now. It's one of the more weaker cards. But easy Dennett. And I don't hate the Dollhouse of Horrors just bringing back some of our flyers, which is pretty useful. And then we're just going to take Circle of Confinement here, I think, over Ominous Roost. Ominous Roost does play really well with Disturb and Flashback. Obviously, just being able to generate value, but I think we need some solid removal. Over Revenge. Revenge is also great, but the 2 mana just for Circle is really efficient, so we'll take it over Revenge. And then we might have an exploit package going on. Best cards in this pack: Uprising, Death Bond Sprout. I guess, sure, I don't mind the Scob, but we might not play it. Plays pretty well to Decayed Zombie tokens from Falcon. Can bring back maybe one of our instances and sorceries, but Blue-White doesn't have a ton of them. It's more creature heavy. But I'll still take it anyways, just to stick with our theme. How good is Cigar Splinter? Cigar Splinter can be very interesting. If we can gain a ton of life, it's quite good. But if we don't, and the opponent keeps attacking us, it's kind of whatever. I could take actually Supernatural Rescue, which I don't mind. If we get a Spirit out, this can act as a flash effect that can be aggressive enough to tap something down. Maybe it's just too worse than Sigarda Splendor. You know what, I'll take the rare here. It gets me some gems. And yeah, it's just too much of a unique effect. And then we'll take Traveling Minister. So now I could consider the Sigarda Splendor, now that we've taken Traveling Minister, which is the best white common in Crimson Vow. Selhoff and Tumor could also be fine with Disturb, but now now this card gets a lot better if we have Traveling Minister, because you just want to gain life over and over to keep drawing cards, but we'll see. And then this is an okay aura, but I'm probably better off with Homestead Courage. And I've been pretty impressed with Homestead Courage in these blue-white decks, being able to load onto a flyer and an extra flashback card we can get from Self-Mill, which we don't necessarily have a ton of, to be honest. I'll take a Heron Blessed Geist. Not sure if I'll play it. So if we're kind of defensive enough, we can obviously block and start drawing cards with the Splendor. If not, we can be more the aggressive slanted version and not play the Splendor and just play a bunch of Homestead Courages, another Heron Blessed Geist to help us close out, maybe a Binding Geist as a fine 3-drop. So, interesting options here. The thing we just don't have is a lot of self-mill. We barely have any ways to self-mill. So we're not really interested in dumping stuff in our graveyard. We're mostly interested in curving out and beating down, I have to imagine. So maybe the Supernatural Rescue was a better pick over the Splendor. Not sure. But I can live without the Supernatural Rescue, to be honest, since Splendor is just a much more unique and powerful card if it comes together. Okay, this pack is whatever. We'll take an Angel Fire Ignition. If we find a dual land or a way to splash it, this card is quite powerful. So we'll take it. So be on the lookout. Usually I don't care about splashing too much unless I'm in green. Okay, now we could take the Supernatural Rescue. It's probably worse than Scatter Thoughts, though. Scatter is just so good. Scatter Thoughts is just so good here. You know what, I'm going to break the rules and take Scatter Thoughts. It's the second best blue common in Crimson Vow. Yeah, I'll take Scattered. I'll break the rules. I don't need to be hyper aggro. We can have a bit of grindiness to it. Why not? We can even wield a Supernatural Rescue late from our previous pack. But now I'm liking the Homestead Courage. And then could consider Splendor or a second Heron Blessed Geist to counter round the deck. I'll definitely take Revenge of the Drown here over Storm's Fleet Spirits. And that's going to make the cut. So an okay curve. So we could, we should have enough win conditions. 1, 2, 3. Dollhouse can bring stuff back. 4, 5. Ooh, Supernatural Rescue made it. I might play it. Now as a way to maybe lock down something and helps me be aggressive in the air. And even late Siege Zombie, which is very, very interesting to note. Yeah, I don't really think this is the deck for Splendor. We aren't really looking to play a controlling, grindy game where we're trying to win the late game by drawing a bunch of cards and trying to outvalue the opponents. I think the number one strategy of this what we have right now is just to attack, get onto the board early, bounce the opponent's stuff, counter their stuff, and take it from there. So let's see. Homestead Courage would make a lot of sense. And we have some decent removal here. And then Revenge, also nice turn 4. Supernatural Rescue can also tap things down, assuming we can get some spirits. How many spirits do we have? That is 6 spirits, so not a ton of spirits. We can always main phase it, though, just to tap something down and attack. But it's still a consideration. We don't have a lot of turn 4 plays, permanents, so we might still main deck it for the most part. So what can we consider from the sideboard here? We're not splashing anything. Scab is kind of cool, but I don't think we are too worried about getting instances and sorceries back. This is also like whatever, but we aren't really a dedicated exploit deck. There's Binding Geist, which is kind of medium. Like, we have enough stuff to play on turn 3, I might not need it, but it does add another Spirit into our deck for potential synergy purposes. Dollhouse is almost kind of like a turn 6 play, because you need to play on turn 5 and then exile a card to bring it back. So I can see kind of doing the crazy thing and just taking another Heron Blessed Geist on turn 5, since this can just be too high of a curve. I mean, it has to be wrong not playing Dollhouse, right? I mean, the card's just too good. But let's just say we cut Dollhouse. I mean, these are all personal preferences. And then throw in a Heron Blessed Geist. Does that make the deck better? Oh no, sorry if you're hearing that beeping sound, the refrigerator. One moment. Alright, don't know what was that, but yeah, let's see here. Something went wrong with the refrigerator. Yeah, I could just play another Heron Blessed Geist. Maybe the Dollhouse is just too slow. I mean, it's been powerful every single time I cast it. So we could just cut maybe Supernatural Rescue, but again, it's just so clunky. Man, it has to be wrong not playing this right, but maybe our deck is just aggressive enough. We just want to have a lower curve for the stuff we're trying to do, and we aren't really looking to win the late game. And we do have some late game stuff already. Spectral Adversary can be cast for a bunch, and then we can use the phase ability. Heron Blessed Geist just gives me an extra flyer to help me close out. I don't have that many enchantments, do I? Circle, I guess, is one. Infantry is one. Kindly Ancestor is one. I guess Supernatural Rescue is one. So it's actually not wrong, I think, having double Heron Blessed Geist. So I could just run this configuration, otherwise we have another 6-drop. Yeah, it's kind of like the same problem with like Splendor, I think, with the Dollhouse of Horrors. It's just kind of going to be for a much more grindier deck that's looking to outvalue the opponents, while we're just more interested in just curving out and tapping stuff down and killing the opponent immediately. So maybe we don't need Dollhouse here, and we can just run this, I think. And I'm hoping I'm not incorrect for doing this, but we'll go 9-8, see how it goes. And I do like the courage with our flyers, just allowing us to punch through, so we'll give this a shot. So, yeah, flyers. And hope I'm not wrong, not having Dollhouse. But again, also, the fact that we're disturbing from the graveyard means that we can just get value from the graveyard anyways, instead of using Dollhouse. So, it's in a world where you're playing a deck like this, it could be incorrect having Dollhouse, even though it is a slam dunk bomb rare in Crimson Vow. But we'll give it a shot, see if we can get away with an aggressive Flyers deck and win it that way. Sorry, the refrigerator, something happened to it, so I had to just turn off the sound. Adversary on 2 isn't amazing. I might just have to play it, though, just to have a 2/1 flyer. We're on the play, though, so I don't really like the mulligan. I'll try it. Maybe we do just flash it in on turn 2. Kind of underwhelming, because you do want to get some value off of this, but sometimes you just have to, again, be aggressive. Champion is quite good. If it grows larger, we can eventually kill it. But we'll play the land, say go, end of turn, maybe flash in Spectral. Could also consider trading for this, funny enough. But I do want to just deal damage and try to maybe race this opponent. Mirror, I don't really care about. Yeah, let's just play out the Spectral Adversary and start beating down. This takes a long time to answer, and I don't really care about it, so attack for 2. Next turn we can 4 mana, maybe Supernatural Rescue on the opponent's turn, or Scatter Thoughts and Grixis, so an interesting color combination. I don't really mind him using this. It does help him loot a bit, but once it becomes a 4/4, I can still Valor Stance or bounce it to restart everything. So I did play this on my sealed pool in the when this set came out, and I definitely regret it. Just very slow and not what Black is trying to do necessarily in this format. So we'll say go. Opponent's probably just keeping up all his mana to activate the Heirloom. I'm going to attack for 2. And then at a turn we can either Supernatural Rescue or Scatter Thoughts. Don't think I need to develop Morning Patrol. I just want to be mana efficient, maybe hit a 6 land drop or tap some stuff down. Maybe represent a Counterspell, Blood Pact, sure. So he plays another creature, I could tap this down, or I can just take 2 and Scatter Thoughts and set this up next turn. Yeah, we'll take 1. He didn't main phase play a zombie, so that's interesting to note. And then we probably just want 1 land, although 2 can get us the Phantom Carriage. But just in case I flood, maybe just 1 land is fine. And hopefully mill away Disturbed Creature. Yeah, this takes 3 counters, so it's going to take a long time to get this going, and it's pretty expensive for its priced. Definitely not a card I like. I mean, I guess it's 1 generic. You're still losing life. And doesn't really do much. Could see a removal spell. We can protect it with Valor Stance. But we'll just play Scatter Thoughts, and if he counters it, we can still maybe leave with Morning Patrol. Right, I don't mind just putting this stuff in a graveyard. So I don't mind having land and then Falcon, since Falcon I do want to maybe cast along with maybe Baithook Angler next turn. This is also just fine. So yeah, let's just take these 2 and then get some value from the graveyard by milling these 2 away. That way we have more resources, and I can also keep up Counterspell. So let's move to combat. Attack for 2. So do I want to tap out or leave up Counterspell this turn? He's been missing his land drops. I could also just play out Denic, but yeah, this is interesting. Let's play out Falcon here, and I think Baithook. That way we can be mana efficient. Yeah, let's just do that, and if he's a counterspell, I can syncopate it here for 1, which is really neat, so. And maybe we can just win quickly in the air. I might just keep up syncopate here, since Baithook Ankler doesn't really accomplish much, and you could have a removal spell that we might want to counter for 1. Yeah, I'm just going to say go. The Baithook Angler is fine, but doesn't really accomplish much. Gives me 1 extra power, but that's not really too impactful. Whereas keeping up Counterspell in case he taps out next turn could be quite key. And the fact that this comes in tapped is also not very good. So we can always Supernatural Rescue on it to waste his time. Retrieval, that can go, sure. And now I can block the champion. If he taps out for the Diregraph Horde, I can counter it. So always nice to have Syncopate mana open. And yeah, fine if the opponent keeps losing life. This card's red, so yeah, that means he has all of his colors. Organ Hoarder, yeah, let's counter Organ Hoarder, it's annoying enough. And we might as well use our mana for this turn. This prevents him from growing the champion, also prevents him from attacking. And that's an interesting attack. I will definitely block it, opponent. Thank you very much. Right, guess we can smash for 4, but the opponent just concedes. Okay. Maybe it was because he was gold ranking, not sure. A couple blunders there, and yeah. I'll take the win. Opening hand. Alright, we can curve out. Let's keep. And then it would be nice to load up some counters onto our flyers. Not sure if I have any double white cards. Probably not, but we might still need to flash back the Homestead Courage in a deck like this. Adversary is interesting. Could always do that next turn. I think I'm fine attacking for 3, and then we can trade for Ancestor if the opponent decides to attack. And he might activate this ability. We just want to race against this opponent, I think. And if he's trying to generate value, that's okay. If he attacks, I could just take 3 as well, since I'm going to stay ahead in the race. So he gets to generate some value, but then it makes it easier for us to race this turn. So, yeah, he gets a land, gets to transform, but luckily it's tapped. And then I can just load up counters onto my creatures and take it from there. Binding Geist is a bit of a problem. We could Adversary for 1, get out a flyer, and then maybe put some counters onto it. Yeah, I could just do it now, honestly, just to get an attack. I think I'll just do it now, just in case he has a counter spell. We'll be taking 7, but we will also just be gaining some life, and then we get to phase out the Binding Geist, I guess, until next turn, so it's still going to remain phase. Never mind, it comes back, but that's okay. We get an extra flyer we can load up counters onto. The opponent can't afford to be aggressive, because we're just gaining 2 life and attacking. So, yeah, not a bad turn. Anya, that's a bit annoying, but maybe we can still race here. Take 4. Opponent can start sacrificing. Yeah, I guess we Silversmith and then pump our flyers and attack, and hope we get there. Opponent can't keep up mana forever. He can gain a maximum of up to 7 next turn, but he still be taking a lot more damage. We can maybe sub some good double blocks or triple blocks against Anya. Can even chump, maybe. Could also chump with Baithook Angler, I guess. And then at least have a 2 mana play and a 3 mana play next turn. Since this isn't doing much except as a chump blocker. But I'm hoping the opponent doesn't have a ton of interaction here and we can just keep attacking with our flyers. I could double block here. Opponent would need to keep up 4 mana to stay alive. So do I just double block the 4/3? I mean, probably not, because if I attack all out, there's a chance I can just kill him, so yeah, let's just take it here. We really don't need to block by any means, and we're staying ahead in this race. At the end of the day, he's forced to maybe sack some stuff. So now what? If I attack with Vol, let's see, he would need some sort of Dream Mana removal spell to deal with Adversary, and he would also need to block and sack something to gain some life, so he can effectively block 2 of my ground creatures. One will be a trade for the Binding Geist. I think we just go for an all-out attack. Let's say he does have removal for Spectral Adversary, like maybe a Revenge of the Drowned. He'd still be at 3. He'll still be lethal, so I think we go for it here and just kind of hope and pray. He can still sacrifice. I mean, if he needs to activate Anya and get up to 7, he would need to use 2 mana, so he would need like a 1 mana instant. But I think we just go for it, so we don't give him enough time for Anya, and at least we can still trade off for Binding Geist and maybe force him to use Anya here, or at least he needs to kill the flyer obviously first. So, I mean, not a lot of things can go wrong here, I don't think. So he can block and then sack, but we still kill him. Because 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so he can only go up to 7. So yeah, he would need to do some good sacking, or at least have enough mana to kill one of my flyers. And then also sack, so he would need 3 mana removal, and he would need to sack something here to gain life and go up to 5. Opponent has Startled, that's a good one, alright. So that's going to slow me down. And then we let damage happen. He can activate it once and gain some life. So he probably wants to trade here for the Kindly Ancestor and then get the free kill. I guess, yeah. Is he still dead here? I think he's still dead. Yeah, I guess he's still dead because that would be lethal. That's still 6 damage. So either way, he was screwed. So yeah, made the right call. Otherwise, if I just give him enough time, he will have enough mana to start sacking and to offset the damage done. So yeah, this is definitely a deck that wants to be aggressive and doesn't want to play Dollhouse, I don't think. So we get to punish these decks that are trying to keep greedy mana bases and playing expensive cards. Alright, a 2-drop, 3-drop, seems good, both of our colors. And hopefully we can enable Coven for Candlegrove, so need to find some different powered creatures. But it's still a solid 2-drop to have. Mystic Skull, not a card I see too often. I mean, okay, if you believe in it, then I'll give that to you. Just want to get a 2-powered flyer down, so this can filter and allow him to fix. Don't care about the Hobbling Zombie. Yeah, I could just trade the Candlegrove Witch, to be honest, because the Death Touch is annoying. Yeah, let's just attack. Don't care about the decay token. Just want to get off the bat since we're an aggressive deck, and we can let the trade happen. And then I could also play Kindly Ancestor to start gaining life. But I think the Morning Patrol is just a better attacker, and even if it trades, I get an extra body eventually, so let's bring out the Morning Patrol. Or I can maybe hope I get a 4th land so I can Adversary, tap something down and attack. Opponent's playing some janky cards just to hit his land drops, okay. Hopefully he doesn't have a lot of sweepers. And I can again just kill him quickly. Black mana, so I'm hoping he doesn't have Path to the Perished. Awakener can become a 4/4, but we can kill with the Valorous Stance next turn. We don't have, I do like the Adversary, but we need the extra blue generic to activate the ability, so probably just attack here and then play out the Kindly Ancestor. We'll stay on defense with the Ecstatic Awakener, maybe looking to block and sack, and we can punish him with Valorous Stance next turn. Sludge Monster is a bomb, we gotta kill that immediately, so I'm gonna kill the Sludge Monster instead. And then, yeah, we can even flash an Adversary if we want to. I just want to get in for some damage this turn. You know, just get rid of this before it becomes a nuisance. And then we can attack with all, can even flash an Adversary end of turn just to add extra pressure. Well, it doesn't have any good blocks. Alright, and then if we flash this in and attack him for 4 next turn, he's dead, so we'll see. Dennick is annoying. Look, hopefully he doesn't gain life with this. I'm going to attempt to flash in the Adversary and hope it resolves. And then that should be 4 damage, assuming he doesn't kill any of my flyers. At least Heron can maybe block Dennick. It would have been nice to have the extra blue to maybe phase Dennick eventually. But this is fine, and then I think we attack with the flyers and keep everyone back. He could have removal here at instant speed, or some way to disrupt with Duel for Endowments. That's a good one. Alright, so game's not over yet. Can still get him for 2, and then we can still play Heron as another evasive threat. Opponent cast Consider. Keeps it on top. Interesting. So the question is, do we double block Denik if he attacks with it? I actually don't mind. I don't like the fact that it trades, however, but it eventually needs to go, otherwise he can just keep gaining life, and that's kind of annoying. He can disturb it back. I think we just block it and hope it happens, and just maybe waste his turn bringing back Denik. We can... Alright, just Defiance again. Alright, that's annoying, so he gets to play out Denik. Gets rid of my Kindly Ancestor, but that's not a big deal. Opponent gets to make another 1/1 flyer, so he gets to stabilize a bit here. We can always just cast a Silversmith, I guess, and just attack. Opponent does this instead, so he could be holding up something. I guess he could be holding up mana for a Static Awakener, so I think we just play the Silversmith first. And then we'll Adversary here and here. I could attack with the Morning Patrol, force him to chump, block, and sack. I could also Ancestor here, just to get this out of the way. Not sure if there's any relevant synergy. And then attack for 7. I'll keep this in the yard for now. Let's just attack for 7. He could also have something here to disrupt. Alright, so if he's going to chill, he can still a Static Awakener, which is kind of annoying. But I can at least attack for 3. He's going to sacrifice his token end of turn, I have to imagine, to grow his Static Awakener into a 4/4. That's fine. I can also just double block it and get the Morning Patrol as a flyer eventually, so... If he does main face Denik, I might not block it though, because then he gets to investigate end of turn. Jacob is quite powerful. So I could main face Scatter Thoughts and see what's up. And Phantom Carriage and Geistlight Snare are quite good. Also Supernatural Rescue, so a lot of options. Might just want to Phantom Carriage as an extra flyer. Snare is interesting because we can leave this up next turn to maybe counter something. But Supernatural Rescue can also tap his flyers down. I'm actually going to risk it here and take the Supernatural Rescue. This way we can still Kindly Ancestor onto Spectral, make it a lot less likely he ends up not blocking, and just gain 3. I'm happy with the trade too. And then we can play Carriage, so he gets to activate Jacob and transform him and play a free card. If it's a flyer, I mean, yeah, if it's something that flies, I can just tap both creatures down with Rescue and win the game. Diagraph Horde is fine. Alright, so I think it's game over here unless he has some sort of 1-mana trick, but I highly doubt it. Alright, yeah, I think it's just game over since I can just Supernatural Rescue, tap 2 creatures down, and that's it. So yeah, close game. The opponent managed to pull off his combo, but we get to tap 2 creatures here and then just attack for 5, and that's lethal. So just gotta end the game quickly against these multicolor bomb-heavy decks. And yeah, this strategy does work, given how powerful, how much value you can get out of the blue-white deck. So yeah, pretty good. I think you can counter Denik's Jacob's ability once he transforms. So maybe I should have kept Geistlight Snare. So then if he transform Jacob and still play a 0-mana card creature, I can still counter it, since you would still need to pay the mana to prevent it from being countered. So maybe I should have kept up Supernatural Rescue and a counterspell over Phantom Carriage, but the Phantom Carriage can maybe give me more outs if the opponent didn't have too many ways to fly over to win. But luckily, the opponent didn't have. He would need removal on the 4/4 for the most part, since I could still tap 2 things down with the Supernatural Rescue. So yeah. Close match. Opponent almost managed to stabilize, but luckily the Supernatural Rescue came in handy. Opening hands. Alright, not the most exciting opening hand. We're on the draw. It's keepable, but maybe it's just a little bit too slow. I would love a hand with more lands and some 2-drops. And we do have better hands like that, so I might just mulligan here. I think I'll mull, given that I want to, like, maybe I don't. There's no guarantee that we get a third land, and if we do, this hand is still kind of slow, and we want to be pretty aggressive with this deck. So I'm gonna mulligan here, and then this seems a lot better. We can keep, and then I could bottom the Geistlight Snare, or maybe, yeah, or maybe just keep all my creatures. I could get greedy and bottom a land. Maybe that's reasonable. Because, like, this could come in handy, but it's only really good if I have a Spirits. So, not sure. I think we ditch maybe the Kindly Ancestor, but it's just another good creature. I hate doing this. Let's, you know what? Let's get greedy. Maybe we bomb a land. Let's bomb a land since we're on the draw. It sounds crazy, but alright, we didn't get punished. I just hate drawing multiple lands when you bomb a spell in a on the draw sort of hand. Maybe on the play it was reasonable to maybe ditch a spell. But, yeah, I guess we didn't get punished here unless we keep drawing a bunch of 5s and 6 drops. And since we're being aggressive, I think we just want to attack with Minister if he has nothing here. Although the opponent's going to hit us for 2 or 3 every single turn. So I guess we just want to gain life and then take 3 next turn and say go. And the question is, which one do I lead with, Ancestor or Abomination? Probably with the Abomination, just to get the blue mana out of the way. Since if we get double blue, though, I might play something else. Alright, Giralf is a good one. And all of his zombies now gain flying, and he can also sack things to make zombie tokens. So this is going to be a bit of a rough game. Circle, I guess, is an answer to Giralf. I could just use it now. I could also play on Ancestor, and then we will have a turn to keep up a 2-mana Geistlight Snare and Circle Confinement. Maybe that's just better. Allow him to you untap here, but I think it's more mana efficient if we do it this way. We'll still be taking 2 in the air, but then Giralf, we do want to exile immediately over Jadar. Like, both of these cards are pretty annoying, but I think Giralf is definitely the worst. It has to be non-token. So yeah, this is rough. If I try to exile its Bladestitch Skaab, he's just going to stack in response. So I think we just need to exile Giralf. Okay, Covetous Castaway is interesting. Yeah, let's just get rid of Giralf here. I could also get rid of Bladestitch Skaab. But by getting rid of Giralf, his zombies no longer have flying, and I think that's a bigger issue. So let's just get rid of Giralf, and then we can still gain a life here, and then I don't think we're attacking. We'll say go, keep up our 1-mana Geistlight Snare. And he needs to have 3 generic open, but the opponent looks like he has a really busted blue-black deck, and that's kind of scary. Yeah, the archetype is very scary in general, so we'll be taking 3 since I don't want to trade Ancestor off. Interesting attack with Jadar, alright. I guess we're happy blocking Bladestitch Skaab, and then taking 4, gaining some life, so either way, it's almost like he didn't, I mean, yeah, he's doing more damage doing this. Yeah, let's just counter this now. Kind of annoying card to face against. And I guess we can still attack in game 3, can Revenge of the Drowned, I guess, on Bladestitch Skaab, I guess, and then block the token. Could also end of turn Scatter Thoughts. I guess we might want to just use our instances to be mana efficient and then just say go, since we're not winning the race anytime soon. Could always bounce to Bladestitch Skaab and then kill the zombie token. I think that might just be the play, just to waste his turn. I'd be pretty happy if he attacks like that, so... Alright, I guess we want to do this before blocks, in case something happens, so let's bounce the Bladestitch Skaab here. And then that way I can still bounce a token and recuperate some life. And this way we can waste his draw step and buy some time. And then I'm fine blocking the 2/2 token. Next turn he can just replay it, of course, but we did deny him his draw step. And Midnight Ambush is pretty annoying, so that sucks. I could use some lands. If I Abomination into land, that's pretty nice. So now I can play Abomination. Ancestor onto the Abomination. And then I guess I'm fine hitting for 3 since the tokens can't block. And then I can still keep swinging for 3 lifelink in the air to offset the life loss done by these creatures. And then we'll still be taking a bit of a beating from the Blade Stitch Scob, the zombie token, but then now we have a 3-power lifelinker that's going to keep getting in, so we'll take 3, we can block the 2-2. And then we also deny the opponent draw step, so yeah, not a bad victory for us. We just need to hope the opponent doesn't top deck and do some crazy stuff. But now we get Denick, which is nice. I don't hate Scattered Thoughts into Island and then play Denick. Although we didn't get Island, but we still got some good playables here. Don't hate the extra land, can put this in the graveyard. Can we fly over with Candlegrove Witch? I guess we can if we eventually get the Homestead Courage, and then this is quite an important cheap creature that we can pair along with Denick next turn. If we have another land, we could consider Herrenblessed Geist and Denick, but I think we just want to get the Candlegrove Witch right. Or I can not take land, to put the Homestead Courage in the graveyard and just get these two. But I think, given the fact that we're missing our land drops, I think I like this. And the fact that we also have enchantment means that we can get value from the Herrenblessed Geist eventually. So I could Homestead Courage and Flashback, but I think we just want to be mana efficient, get out the Witch, and then it's also another powerful win condition which can fly over for 3. So we'll attack for 3, gain some life, and then now this is going to be difficult for the opponent to race against us. And then it can also just block his zombie token all day. Opponent doesn't attack with the Scob. Okay, now he does, so we'll take 5. And then we can also take it slow and get value off the graveyard in case he picks up like a Diregraph Horde, which can exile our flashback creatures, which is kind of annoying. Falcon is a good one, so I guess now we want to maybe put some counters. So I don't hate that, and then he could trade for the Candlegrove Witch. I guess if I put a counter onto the Falcon Abomination, he's more likely to trade off for it. Yeah, he does want to trade off for this because it can gain lifelink. I have 6 mana available. I could just flashback Heron and Denick and then get the Homestead counters, Courage counters somewhere else. Yeah, let's just do this, I think. And he's most likely going to trade for the Falcon Abomination, but that's fine. And then we can still make more flyers and then get out Denick to block and start trading. But he's most likely going to block here to prevent me from gaining life over and over. And we can still Heron here. Get some value going, and then Denick could also trade for a zombie eventually, or just block off the 2-3 and prevent us from attacking. So now he can't exile my graveyard because I have the Homestead Courage. So we're in a pretty good spot here, I have to imagine. So we'll take 3, it's not the end of the world. And then we can still load up counters onto our flyer. And take it from there, so yeah, let's Homestead Courage, I think, on the flyer seems pretty good. And then we can even make this 3-powered just to enable Coven, move the combat, and then yeah, we can just send in the flyers and we can take another 3 from the zombie token. We'll play out Morning Patrol. If he has a way to wipe the board, we can just bring it back, and this should be game over. So yeah, for the moment there, the opponent had a pretty insane start, but luckily we, I think the turning point was when we Revenge of the Drowned on the Blade Stitch Scob, and that prevented him from really racing us. And it sucks having the bottom this card because it's just so powerful in the zombies deck. So yeah, blue-white beating blue-black did happen in a Strong Midnight Hunt. I think blue-white was the best deck actually. But most people would bias themselves towards blue-black, I think they're both very close, believe it or not. But the blue-white deck also was really powerful, also great in Crimson Vow as well, with Brian Comers, and sometimes you get the Nuts Hollow Haunting deck. But yeah, 4-0, so let's keep this up. Let's try to get to 7 with this. Not sure I want to make this another long video, we'll see. Always loving Minister on turn 1. And then yeah, we can enable Coven for Candlegrove Witch if we make a 3-powered flyer, 3-powered creature here. So Hungry for More, we're definitely not going to block this. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult to race. But that's okay. We're fine just taking 3, and then we'll play Witch. And I think we gain a life since the opponent could just be in a more aggressive deck. And we're not necessarily trying to be hyper aggro. I'm fine if he flashbacks this back and hits me for 3 again. I'm not trading here since this is essentially just a dead card since it just goes away end of turn. So right now we can I guess we can play Kindly Ancestor to kind of help with the race. Since if he doesn't have a way to trade with this, we can just gain a ton of life. I could also play Falcon Abomination, to be honest. Not sure here. I mean, are we killing them? Ancestor can really punish them next turn. But I think I just want to wait here and just play Falcon. This way we can still attack for 3 and we're still gaining life, so it's not the end of the world. And then we have 5 power of flying that can keep smacking it over and over, so yeah. And then Kindly Ancestor can start being annoying. There's a Vampire's Vengeance I need to worry about, which is a 3-mana deal 2 to all, make a blood token. That would totally wreck my day, so maybe I should have thought about that before developing the Falcon Abomination. But that's an uncommon. I guess in red-black you're always going to play that uncommon. So let's hope he doesn't have it, and he doesn't. Okay, Painter is fine. We can keep it daytime over and over. So I'm happy just running out. You know, we can do this, and there's Coven enable. So I'm fine attacking. And then we can play out, I guess, Lantern Bearer. And then could play out Ancestor. Maybe this can force a block next turn. But yeah, we're just offsetting all the life loss. Purifying Dragon is a good one. We might need to keep up the Supernatural Rescue to answer it. Otherwise, it can just keep pinging my flyers down. Yeah, let's move to combat here. And I think we just attack with the Ancestor. Yeah, and then we want a Supernatural Rescue onto the opponent's turn. Just to prevent the 4-3 from attacking. And we probably want to put it onto maybe the Falcon so he can't kill it. So we'll say go. I'm fine if he pings down the Lantern Bearer, but now we can flash in Supernatural Rescue, put it onto the Falcon so he won't kill it immediately if the Purifying Dragon attempts to attack. So let's just do this. And then tap these 2 down to waste his turn. And then he also won't be able to take on my Falcon. He can take on my Decayed Zombie, so I might need to swing with it next turn. I hope he just doesn't have anything here. Dominating Vampire is okay. He can't really... I'm hoping he doesn't have a Mind Leech Ghoul. That would be kind of annoying, so I'm probably just going to attack for 1. I guess he can pump this, although it doesn't gain flying. Alright, never mind. Okay, Vengeful Strangler, so he's not sacrificing. This also can't block. So we're in a pretty good turn here. We can also Spectral Adversary to deal with the Purifying Dragon. So I could attack the Ancestor and offer to trade for the 3-3, but I think we just want to get in as much damage as possible, I have to imagine. So let's pump the Candlegrove Witch, move the combat, and then attack with all of our flyers, and then we can flash in Spectral Adversary to tap down the 4-3 on his turn. So we'll say go. And then pre-combat we can flash in Adversary, tap the Dragon, and we should be good. This way he doesn't get to tap down any of our... kill any of our flyers, and then we get to phase it out and then attack in the air next turn. So I can also block the Vengeful Strangler for fun, or I can just take it. Because if he attacks, I can swing back to the Lifelinker. So either way, the opponent is in trouble. And this is lethal next turn, so he needs to kill one of my flyers here. So next turn, probably just want to pump maybe Lantern Bearer or Candlegrove Witch and attack. Since if he kills one of these, it's not good. I'll take 5. No reason to block. And Bat Whisper is kind of annoying, so He makes a 1/1. So we're probably fine enhancing the Candlegrove Witch here and attacking. And I'm fine sending on all my flyers. And he's forced to chump the 3-power flyer because if he doesn't, he's dead. And then we should be able to survive next turn. So I can still chump block with the Ancestor next turn to stay alive in case I'm too afraid, but I should be fine here. Opponent can attack with a dragon, can take out my Lantern Bearer, but then I can just flash it back with Disturb. So either way, I think we're in good shape. Can even put the Morning Patrol in front of the Bat Whisperer if I'm afraid of taking too much. So he's just going to do an all-out attack, as I've imagined. So this is only going to trigger onto the opponent's turn. And this only can deal 1 damage, I guess. Yeah, I guess Traveling Minister. So I'm happy that I tapped this down earlier, otherwise it was going to become a problem. Yeah, we don't have to necessarily trade. Let's just block here and then just attack. So then we have some extra power to attack back. I guess you could have like a double strike thing going on, but we'd still be alive, I think. I'm just hoping he doesn't have some sort of weird double strike trick. Okay, he doesn't, so we get to gain 2 extra life and stay alive. This can attach onto one of my creatures, but then it only triggers on his turn. So next turn we should be able to attack with all and hopefully win. And even if he uses the 2-mana sweeper, deal 2 to all, we'd still have enough bodies to end the game. So Cutburst taking out Ancestor is alright. We don't get to gain life, but we can still attack with a bunch and we can just close out the game here. I can't imagine the opponent surviving. I guess he could have the 2-mana sweeper. We should be able to enable Coven. Yeah, let's move to combat. And then I'm fine just sending in all. Yeah, he would need the 3-mana deal 2 to everything, but I think it's fine just going for it now. Even if he does so, I guess we have Falcon Abomination, which is a 3/4, so either way I think he's dead. I can't imagine anything here. Grasp, I guess. Could gain him some life, but he's still taking 5, even if he blocks my ground creature, so it's game over either way. The blue-white deck is just too good, and Traveling Minister is just an absurd common. So yeah, the trick of this set, draft blue, essentially. Blue is just too good. And yeah, 5-0. Let's keep this up. We made back most of our gems. There's a chance that we can trophy with this deck, and that would be awesome. Get to showcase why you should draft blue-white in this format, or blue-black. This is an interesting hand. We don't have white mana, but we have Lantern Bearer on the play, plus Falcons, so I think it's reasonable to keep. And then we can maybe hopefully lead with an aggressive enough start that we'll eventually find white mana for which to deploy. And then maybe find some other goodies, but more white spells is definitely not what I want to draw. But we'll keep this since it's still a reasonable opening hand. Obviously the top deck that we want is Candlegrove Witch, but we'll see. I mean, white is plains for Candlegrove Witch. Alright, gotta wake the opponent up. Alright, he's awake. So let's just get this Lantern Bearer out. Alright, there it is. Ask and you shall receive. So perfect opener. 1 drop into 2 drop into 3 drop. We don't have Coven with this, but we'll eventually get it if we put a counter onto a creature. Geist-like Snare is an interesting option, but I don't think we need it this early. Just gonna keep deploying my stuff and hope I don't get countered here by a Syncopate. And nope. And I'm fine just getting rid of my token and attacking if it's early on. Bird Admirer is interesting, but we can bounce it back. And I think I will, just to get in for a ton of damage. And this will reforce him to cast it, so it denies my draw. So Indecisive Bottom, interesting. But I'm fine cashing the Decay token at this point. So hopefully not another reach creature. Otherwise, that can transform. So second Bird Admirer would be kind of annoying here. Alright, so I guess we just attack. Again, we're fine cashing in a zombie token. If he has any flash creatures, we can counter it. So yeah, just want to cash in as much damage as possible and try to end the game quickly in this blue-white Flyers deck before he comes back. And then yeah, Snare was really nice here, so we get to take out his Flyer and also put him down to 2. So yeah, opponent just concedes just too fast. Alright, it must have been a pretty tilting game since I was able to curve out perfectly and deal with all the opponent's threats. So sometimes that's just what you have to do. Alright, 6-0. Let's get a trophy with this deck. Sometimes you just curve out and get there. Alright, just one more match, and then we can show off how good we are. Let's go. So final boss. Let's seal this victory and then maybe do another draft afterwards. It's a pretty long wait for the opponent, so maybe the opponent disconnected and we need to restart. Another search happens, but this is usually what happens when this waiting for opponent stuff comes. It usually it means that someone has disconnected and you need to wait past the 2-minute mark to see the results. So the final boss is a little bit afraid of us, I guess, or preparing, but usually triggers around 2 minutes, I have to imagine. If it goes past 3, we might need to restart the client. But I wouldn't doubt the fact that the opponent disconnected and now we're in a draw. Yep, and that's what happened. See, now you see an explosion sound before the game happened, and now there's a draw. So that's something to keep in mind. Has happened to me a couple of times already. Kind of annoying, but you just have to deal with it. Obviously, it feels pretty bad when you're tilting and you're just grinding games of Arena, and I've gotten through that before. But just kind of bite the bullet, as they say, in order to deal with the tilts and the negativity and anger. You gotta just plow through, just keep plowing through. Take it as it comes. So yeah, And now you can get rewarded if you play well enough and keep yourself calm, just to understand it's just a game of variance. Hope this doesn't happen twice. It has actually happened to me twice. And the worst feeling is when you're in a losing streak. Those are the worst when you're losing. You just want your games to be over. You just want your opponents to hurry up. Come on. You can do it. Come on, opponents. But yeah, it's nice to just start early into this format, since it's less likely you end up pairing with the other top mythic players. And once you climb the rankings quickly, you can easily get to top 10 or top 50 right away. But yeah, this is a nice close to 1 minute mark search, so we're bound to play this game, and yeah, gold ranking posts, so hopefully they can give us the 7-0. I haven't gotten any 7-0s in a long time. This hand doesn't look great. No early creatures, some fine utility tools, but I don't really want to use them on like a 2-drop. So I think it's a mulligan, and it's fine since we're on the draw. This hand is slightly better, not amazing though. Could keep the Heron Blessed Geist, and then bomb a Falcon Abomination since we have one already. I mean, it's not bad. We do need to hit a couple of land drops to get going, and some blue mana for Falcon. I think I'll keep, and then we bomb a Falcon just to diversify a bit and hope we don't get punished. Alright, the opponent's playing blue-white as well, so maybe a mirror match. Blue mana would be amazing next turn, obviously, so we'll see. And still nothing. Alright, so this sucks. It would be nice if we have a mountain to have counterspell available, or at least develop the Falcon. But yeah, now we get 2 for 1 here by Nimbleghast Intruder, which did happen last game, but yeah, this sucks. If we had blue mana, we could at least kept up the counterspell, so... But I think we was still right to attack, since you have to be aggressive. Since if the opponent didn't have a Nimbleghast Intruder, you can be aggressive enough if you're missing your land drops to keep the opponent on defense, but... Yeah, now we're in a rough spot, so probably unfortunately can't 7-0 this if we aren't drawing our islands. So yeah, probably this has to be the game for the opponent, but yeah, can't counter that, can't even kill any of that, so let's get our island please, and yeah, I think that's just game over. Yeah, not really a good game, so there's really no point emoting, just gotta concede. Just too far behind, and again, nope, access to blue mana was bad. Even if we mulligan correctly, that game just wasn't good. So yeah, couldn't get 7-0. So maybe we can get 7-1. Please, game, don't punish us. We were so close. Come on. I was really respectful. I was respectful enough for this video. Come on, game. Don't do this to me. We drafted correctly. We even sideboard out our bomb. And even sideboard out the Sigarda Splendor shenanigans just to make this work. Don't punish us like this. I think we faced against that guy earlier as well. I'm not sure. His name did sound familiar. But then again, we faced against a couple of gold ranking opponents already. Alright, let's do this. Come on, give me both my colors and at least a 2-drop. At least a 2-drop or a 1-drop, please. Give me both my colors. Opening hand. Come on, let's do this. Alright, it's not bad. 2-drop Dennick into Morning seems quite good, and we can even Homestead Dennick just to be annoying later on. So this is a fine keep. And we didn't get Dennick on turn 2 yet in any one of our games, so it's nice having in our opening hand finally. And hope we can just curve out and win that way. Dennick is just a powerful 2 for 1. And then, yeah, we'll leave with the plains. double red for a Perforator, which we can block easily with Denik. If the opponent attacks this, I'm going to be a little bit suspicious, so I'm probably not going to block with Denik if he attacks into this. Worst case scenario, he could have just a trick, but if he uses it, then he won't be able to tap out. Alright, so now we can hold off these 2 powered creatures. I could also attack here. Since he didn't attack into this Denik last turn, I can still attack this turn and then play out Morning Patrol, and he's less likely to attack, so I think I'm fine. And if he double blocks, we could 2-for-1 him pretty nicely. And just gaining this 2 life makes it a lot harder for him to race. So yeah, we can even give Denik Indestructible and instant speed, so yeah, our deck just lines up really nicely against these 2-powered vampires, 2-1 vampires, so Courier Bat is interesting. So we're probably fine attacking with the Morning Patrol this turn. Can even circle here. I could also load up counters on both creatures and then attack. Since if I load up a counter here, if he doesn't have any good double blocks, I could also just put a counter onto the Morning Patrol and attack, so then it's a good blocker. But Denik, he's less likely to double block. But if he could also have the Hoarder next turn. So this is interesting. I don't really want to circle confinement any of these creatures, to be honest. I think I'm happy just putting on the Morning Patrol just to play around Diregraph Horde, attack for 3, and then play out the Candlegrove Witch. And I'm fine if he double blocks here, since trading for both of these cards would be quite powerful, and he doesn't have any good double blocks. This is good. I'm happy with this exchange. I could also make it indestructible to be annoying, but I'm fine with this. And I'm hoping he doesn't have Diregraph Horde here. So let's play the Candlegrove Witch. Could play around Diregraph Horde by using Valorous Stance, but this is fine. I guess with Denik on the battlefield, he can exile. So never mind, so it didn't matter if he has Diregraph Horde or not. So he probably needs to use Burn the Accursed here to exile Denik, which is a 5-mana removal. Fangblade is pretty good, but we can kill it with the Valorous Stance, so luckily we could save up the Valorous Stance for this turn. And I think we do it now because we want to race instead of developing mana for value. And then by killing this, we could put a counter onto Denik, I guess. And there's no 1 mana removal that can punish 3 toughness, only 2 toughness, so I don't want to put the Courage onto the Candlegrove Witch. Just want to put it on Denik just to make it even more annoying and difficult for him to race. So let's just do that. Let's just play land, and I think we want to just stance on the Fanblade Brigand ASAP. And I don't want to circle on the Courier Bat since it's just weak enough that I can then just make Denik really large to attack into it, and then this also plays around 2 mana instant speed removal, which he could have. So we'll attack and hope he doesn't have any ways to exile Denik. And if he kills Denik, we can still flash back the Morning Patrol. And by gaining life, it makes it more difficult for him to race, so... Undead Butler, fine card. It can get back Fanblade, but I don't really care. I guess it can bring back the Blood Vial Purveyor. So I don't necessarily want to attack with the 3-4 next turn. I guess he needs double black for the Purveyor, which he eventually now has. So I don't necessarily want to do that. So I think this turn we just want to develop the board and get stuff going. I guess Heron Blessed Geist isn't the worst since it can attack past the 2-2. So probably no attacks, we can say go. And just keep swinging in with the 3-3. I could also exile the Undead Butler. Diregraph Horde doesn't deal with my Morning Patrol because I have Denik. So this does nothing. And then I can just escape my creatures and maybe exile Undead Butler eventually. Yeah, I think the opponent forgot. So we basically have the perfect deck against the opponent. So yeah, let's move to combat. Attack for 3. Probably no blocks. Flashback Morning Patrol, play out Traveling Minister, hope he doesn't have a sweeper. And then if he kills Heron Blessed Geist, we can always exile one of his creatures and then get value off of it back again, so we're in pretty good shape. I can even keep land in my hand, but yeah, let's just play it out for now. Even if it doesn't really play around discard anytime soon, and now I can pump my flyer and attack. And now I should have Coven for Candlegrove Witch, Dreadfeast Demon. Alright, that's a problem. I don't think I can beat Dreadfeast Demon, so that's another problem. So now he can sacrifice the Undead Butler. Alright, so that's just game. I guess I can exile the token and start attacking. Man, this is bad. Yeah, I think I just need to exile the token now and then hope I get there, so I guess I can't. So we're pretty much dead, I think. Why did the opponent have to have a Dreadfeast Demon? Yeah, this is just the way Magic works nowadays, so yeah, I can't beat that. We were so close, but the final boss just has to drop a Dreadfeast Demon on us. Welcome to Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt, guys. Alright, so very close, but Dreadfeast Demon got us. The first loss was due to the fact that we missed the color. Second loss is because of Dreadfeast Demon. Let's hope the third final boss doesn't do any of those things to us. So that kind of sucks. Alright, so yeah, he was just going to keep making 6/6s all day, and there's nothing you can do about that. And you can also bring back Blood Vial Purveyor. I guess he couldn't target it due to the fact that we gave the Graveyard Hexproof, but that was a crappy top deck from the opponent for us. We'll keep this hand. We're on the play. It's kind of slow, but Kindly Ancestor into Gavny Silversmith is quite good. Best case scenario, we get a 2-drop next turn, but we'll see. Alright, slow start. Could see this get countered. Hopefully it doesn't. It doesn't get countered, so that's nice. So now we can make this into a 3/4 and start attacking. Gryffrider is fine, but we can attack past it, luckily enough. And I'm hoping we don't keep drawing lands, since we're flooding a bit. And now we can do this, and then also keep up Valorous Stance next turn. If I knew the opponent had Dreadfeast Demon, maybe I kept on to the Valorous Stance, but come on, you can't really play around that in this format. And then opponent decides to attack, interestingly enough, so not sure what this implies, but I'm down to just attack. He could have a Fierce Retribution. Is it the worst to save my creature if he has Fierce Retribution? If he blocks and uses a pump spell, I can punish him, so we'll see. So if it's Adamant Will, it doesn't gain Indestructible. Blessed Defiance is annoying. I could just give my creature Indestructible. So the trade happens. What happens here? I could give my creature Indestructible just to be annoying. And then he would need to load up the Aura and then block next turn. I think that's okay. Yeah, let's give this Indestructible just to be annoying. And then we still have a 3/4. And he doesn't really have any good double blocks. I guess he can enhance his flyer and then attack, but then we'll be attacking back for a good amount as well. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was the right approach. Maybe I should just let it happen, and then eventually if his creatures grow large, we can kill it with the Valorous Stance. But Gyler is going to set us back a bit. Alright, and then we're just drawing lands, so we just lose. So, yeah, this could just be the end of us. Not sure if it was right to give my creature Indestructible or hold on to the Valorous Stance, because now Valorous Stance seems really good against the Beguiler. And then, yeah, another land, so now we lose the Flood. We lost to not getting our colors, then we lost to not being able to deal with a bomb, and now we lose because we can't seem to get any good playables. So, yeah, we get punished for drafting good and doing well. I won't be surprised if he loads up the enchantment onto the 1/1 and then just attacks and grows his flyers. Courage even to pump his team and give this creature vigilance, so we're probably just dead here if we get another land. So this is the tilting thing about Magic. Sometimes you do very well and you don't get lucky. It would be nice to have something here, at least a bounce spell. Now a Heron of Hope. We're probably just dead here. Yeah, High Isolate Snare would be great like a few turns ago, but rip. So 6 and 3. would have been nice. Very close to 7-0, but we just have to lose our last 3 final games due to bad luck. So, definitely want to do another draft after this. I'm not going to play that game. It's just, we were just too far behind. And, you know, we had a decent start too, being able to put counters onto our creatures and attack. But yeah, just drew too many lands that last game. So very close to 7-0, but couldn't quite get there. But we'll still claim our prize and be happy with our results, getting 2k gems. But we'll fire off another draft and hopefully get there again. I think we might need to refresh our quests just to maybe get up to 750. And it does happen. Even in Paper Magic, Friday Night Magics, you can get completely owned. Alright, pack one, pick one, Premier Draft, double feature. Let's not get unlucky this time, but we kind of got unlucky because this pack sucks. The rare is pretty bad. The uncommon is okay, but it's not amazing. There's enough ways to bring back stuff from the graveyard. You don't necessarily want to just bring back something with 3 CMC or less. So it's kind of whatever. The uncommon's also replaceable. Sunrise Cavalier is pretty good, but I don't want to commit myself into 2 colors. The best common here is probably just Weaver of Blossoms, just as a fine mana dork that can maybe help us fix and go maybe 3-color green. The other removal spells, Burning Curses is fine, kind of clunky. Nurturing Presence for blue-white is good, but we're not sure if it's open. Same with Blessed Defiance. Yeah, pretty bad pack, no bombs, just take an okay common, and hope we get away with this. Alright, Katilda is pretty nice being passed. A nice bomb rare Katilda. Best in a blue-white deck, but we'll still play this in any white deck. Especially along maybe Devoted Graphkeeper if we end up blue-white, and if this archetype is open, this is great. Otherwise, yeah, I would take Devoted Graphkeeper over Second Weaver. I'm not a big fan of green, and in both sets, they're kind of uninteresting. But Katilda's a nice bomb, and then, yeah, more spirits, more enchantments, it gets larger, and then it can just swing the game out of nowhere. If you can get one or two attacks off, and even enchanting a creature is quite powerful. The fact that it gives a creature flying is great, and lifelink, so easy Katilda. I'm happy Game Pass Katilda. So maybe there was another powerful bomb rare in that pack, and wow, Sludge Monster is great, Rending Flame, Covetous Castaway, Fierce Retribution are all cards that stand out. Definitely taking the Sludge Monster here, and yeah, if we end up blue-whites, I definitely want to have Sludge Monster. Yeah, definitely a powerful rare. So, yeah, double the rares, double feature. Otherwise, I would maybe take Fierce Retribution over Rending Flame just to stay in whites, given past a Katilda, but the Sludge Monster is enough powerful that we have to take it here over the good 2 uncommons here. And then Fierce is good. Moonrager Slash is good too. Startle is fine, but yeah, we'll take another bomb rare. So, alright, got past Weaver, and now we're saved. We might just get saved by this draft. And then now, an interesting options here. We have Lunar Rejection and Kindly Ancestor, which stand out. I think I like them both over Curse of Surveillance. I don't want to take Flame Blessed Bolt since we have 2 powerful cards. So which one do I want to take? Getting past 2 insane rares here was really good. I think I have Lunar Rejection higher than Kindly Ancestor. Ancestor has more synergy with the whole blue-white disturb thing going on, but it's a common that we can pick up later, and it's kind of replaceable. Definitely a good card, but I mean, Lunar Rejection is nice to punish the green decks, and also if green is still open and white gets cut off, I'd rather be in blue-green rather than white-green. So I'll take Lunar Rejection, just a powerful interaction spell for 4 mana, draws us a card over Ancestor, but I can see taking Ancestor here. And then this pack, there's Larder Zombie, which is okay, and Soulguide Gryph has a good top-end creature. Larder's okay, I can live without it. I think we just take Soulguide Gryph just to have a good 5-drop to fly over with. Larder has some synergy if we end up blue-green, but I can hope to get one later and it's not that much of an impressive card that I'm just taking over a good flyer like Soul Guide Griff. And then yeah, Lantern Bear at pick 6, so blue-white looks open again. So hopefully we can save ourselves from the previous draft. Yeah, let's take a Lantern Bear, best blue common in Crimson Vow. And we'll take a Heronophobe. Alright, we're getting past all these goodies from our right-hand side, so not sure if the opponent to my... I mean, the person to my right-hand side just doesn't want to draft blue and white. Funny enough. Maybe they're set into another color combination, but I'm totally fine with that. Blue-white is, again, very powerful. From our previous draft, we almost got 7-0, but got sidetracked. But now this time we have the bombs, Catilda, and Sludge Monster. That last draft, we also just didn't have good... We didn't have any bombs, I don't think. No, we didn't have any game-winning bombs, honestly. We just had good synergy, good curve to punish the slow decks. We had Dollhouse, I guess, as a bomb, but we didn't even main deck it, so maybe now this is maybe a huge improvement over the previous draft. Alright, I think I take Castaway. I wouldn't hate Shipwreck Sifters. This was better just in pure Midnight Hunt since it was powerful with multiple copies and the best 2-drop in blue-whites. But with both sets combined, it's just okay. So I'll take a Castaway here. If it dies, it mills, and also a nice Disturb creature. And then we'll definitely take Nurturing Presence over Blessed Defiance, which I think is also an overperformer. Both of these cards are pretty excellent, but if we don't really have any good usage of this, I'd rather just have Nurturing Presence to curve out with. And it also makes a flyer, so Presence is good. So blue-white is very open, first pack. And yeah, I think we're just committed. I don't think we want to move out of it by any means. Soul Guide Griff is also just a good top-end flyer, helps us exile a bit. Heron of Hope giving us life gain is nice, so if we pick up Lunar Veterans and Traveling Minister, it's pretty powerful. It's a pretty powerful combo, and yeah, this is a very good start to a draft. So this is essentially God handing us the perfect deck now that we got swept with previously, so... And none of these matter, not much, and I'm not playing Unholy Efficient, it's pretty unplayable. There's a chance we might need Otherworldly Gaze to mill, but I'm hoping we can get some Organ Hoarders, or some self-mill cards that ETB. Maybe if we get Scattered Thoughts, Organ Hoarder, this would be pretty nice. And I'm going to take Startled here. I like the fact that it cantrips, I like the fact that it makes a Decayed Zombie token. And yeah, I like the fact that it replaces itself. Could also consider Jack-O-Lantern to do some sort of splashing 3-color shenanigans. Flare of Fate is fine, but better if we're more dedicated to humans. But Startled, I think in Midnight Hunt it's actually correct taking Startled over Moonrager Slash, given how powerful blue is, but this is just a really good common. And in case we're afraid of decking, just take a Devious Cover-Up. But we're committed to blue-whites at this point. I'm not sure if we're going to move out of our way, just... being cast Catilda into Sludge Monster was definitely a sign. With our pretty horrific first pick. Weaver isn't like the worst card to first pick, but it's just a very underwhelming card. Especially with both sets combined, I would be content with Organ Hoarder, but now we can take a larger zombie to maybe help us block. And Stellhoff Entomber is nice too in blue whites. And we'll take a pretty nice bomb rare here with Mirrorhall Mimic over Borrow Time and Organ Hoarder. Organ Hoarder is the best common in Midnight Hunt, but it actually could be correct taking Borrow Time since we might lack efficient interaction. But Mirrorhall Mimic is just a bomb, copies any creature on the battlefield. It does abide by the legendary rules, so we can't copy Catilda. But once this ends up in the graveyard, we can just latch this onto the creature, and it can just make multiple copies to win the game. So, hate the fact that we have to pass a Borrow Time, but I think Mirrorhall Mimic is just powerful enough that we have to take it here. So, let's take the Mimic. And yeah, Overcharge Amalgam, interesting card. Not sure if we want this in the deck. We could have a bit of a mini exploit theme going on with the 1/1 flyer, some Nurturing Presence, the Covetous Castaway, Startled and Lantern, the zombie from Startled and Lantern Bear, but we're probably just going to take Valor Stance since it's just very efficient at 2 mana, and we don't want to get too crowded at 4, since if blue and white are open, there's a chance we can still get Revenge of the Drowned pretty late. So I'm going to take the Valor Stance here, given how it's just very efficient at 2 mana, and we just want to lower our curve. And always happy playing it, so yeah, this is fine. Ooh, and Dennick, yeah, perfect Dennick here, pick 3. Pick 3 Dennick is sweet. Yeah, we're in the right deck again. Awakener is also good. Scob. but we're definitely slamming Dennick here. Not sure if we need Larder Zombie if we're going to be playing a card like Selhoff Tumor, which can put a card in our hand from the graveyard to draw. Larder Zombie was a pretty nice comp in the last set. I mean, in Midnight Hunts, since it was just a flexible card, but I can live without it. Startled is nice just as a cantrip to buy us time. Entomber, again, pretty good with the disturb creatures. So there's a disturb creature in your hand that we want to discard and draw. That's pretty good. Scattered Thoughts versus Supernatural Rescue. I think it's still Scattered Thoughts since we see this can wheel. We could be the more. We also aren't like hyper aggressive. I don't think we're more like a mid-range blue-white deck. We weren't hyper aggressive like the last deck since we might have some expensive cards to cast and some more clunky 4-drops. Oh, I'm definitely taking Scattered Thoughts here. It's just enough higher power level that we take it. And then now we can maybe increase the odds of having more. I mean, we can add more instances in our deck. Maybe a Syncopate would be nice, a Geistlight Snare to play along with some of the clunky 4-drop instances that we have going on. Yeah, and Tumor's nice. It's decent. I don't think this card is bad. I was at a Friday Night Magic in a local area. Shoutouts to Natural 20 here in Las Vegas. And the people there think this is like one of the worst cards in the set. I think it's not. I don't think it's great by any means. I also don't think it's unplayable. It's definitely okay in blue-white. We're going to take Ominous Roost here. Could you see myself playing this? Especially now with all these disturbed creatures. This being able to make 1/1s all day could help us close out and maybe plays pretty well of our more grindier game plan if it comes to fruition. Passing up Catilda. These creatures are also okay, but we're not attacking on the ground by any means, so I like Ominous Roost. Could also take Piercing Light here. Don't hate a 1 mana way to just deal with something with 2 toughness and instant speed. Could just be a nice, cheap interaction spell. Don't really care about Beguiler as much. We should have enough 5s, I think. We don't really want to have too much expensive stuff. And we should have enough 2s. I don't need to play the Steelclad Spirit, so Piercing Light could be okay. And I do like Infantry in these decks. Good 2-drop. It's also disturbs. Yeah, like it over Cruel Witness, which is also fine. But let's just take all the nutty disturb stuff. And yeah, I think I like the Blessed Geist over Dawnhard Geist. Dawnhard Geist I can live without. Maybe an extra flyer that can. It doesn't really have synergy if Ominous Roost does it. It needs to be in a cast. I think this is the ability, so it doesn't necessarily trigger off of Ominous Roost. But I'm still going to take it here because it has good synergy and it gives us another late game threat. Maybe we end up splashing green. I'll take Overgrown Farmlands. At the very least, it's 20 gems, and I don't need to take another random 4-drop. So yeah, don't hate this. I don't hate Binding Geist 2. Just another 3-drop we can cast. And also has Graveyard Synergy. If we're lacking 3-drops to curve out with, it's fine. And then I'll take a Sanctified for the sideboard. So deck is coming along together. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have a full deck by the end of this draft. So we just need to maybe upgrade and improve the quality. Supernatural Rescue also wheeled. So yeah, I did say this card wheels. So I'll take it. And then if I need a 3-drop, Ritual is fine. But again, I don't want any ground attackers in this deck. Patrician Geist is perfect. Yeah, pumps our team. It's funny, I might actually take Patrician Geist over Edgar Markov in this format. Since not only does it keep me flexible, but I don't really want to commit myself in Black-White. Black-White is okay in this format, but the synergies don't really overlap. Edgar is better as a splash in a Black-Red Vampires deck, funny enough. Black-White it was a sacrifice deck in Midnight Hunt, and it was more of a life gain deck in Crimson Vow, so they don't really overlap that much. It's just a Black-White good stuff deck. Good card, but don't think I'm that impressed by it. In Crimson Vow, I might be more happier, but this is more of a splash in Black-Red, and I don't necessarily want to commit myself in 3 colors, so just take Patrician Geist, which is more of a blue-white-gold card anyways, but you can still be in blue-green and still play this. Another Heron seems fine. Over Dawnhard Geist, which is okay. Dawnhard Geist isn't bad, but it's not a top card. I'll take Heron. We might play it, we might not. Depends on how much more life gain I have going. I'm pretty happy with what we have. I'm taking Heron. It's just the most powerful card for us. Maybe we don't need to play a Scattered Thoughts in this deck. Ooh, Dorothea is nice, but we might just take Sigarda's Imprisonment. We have Sludge Monster as interaction, Lunar Rejection, Valorous Stance, maybe Piercing Light, but it's kind of slow. Dorothea is fine. It's a fine card. If we can latch this onto a flyer and keep attacking with 4/4, it can kind of get out of hand. But I also just want interaction, honestly. So I don't actually just hate the Sigarda's Imprisonment. Sometimes you just want to lock something down and get out of the way, and I think we have enough win conditions. We don't need Dorothea. I don't really need Dorothea. We have enough flyers and win conditions. It's just an okay card, honestly. Let's take Sigarda's Imprisonment. I think it's just important. And then now, why did these two have to be in the same pack? I hate when this happens. It's still probably just Lantern Bearer, just because it's cheaper to cast, and we just want an early 1-drop, more early game to curve into Nurturing Presence. Our Ardrees are fine. The last draft we did, it was also the same choice between Archivist and Lantern, but I still think it's Lantern. And now the Selhoff Tumor gets a lot better. I also like Biolumig, but we don't have any ways to exploit it, and by this point in the draft, I don't think we want it. There's Silverbolt, which is fine, but I think it's just another Startled here. Could play 2 of them, not sure. I'll put 1 in the sideboard for now. And then, yeah, we get a Stitch Assistant, which would have been good with the Egg. Assistant is decent Lantern Bearer. It could be okay. There's also just Blessed Defiance, which I'm probably just going to take here. Could main deck it. It's at best in the blue-white deck regardless. Not sure if I need another 6-drop. I think we should have enough flyers to close out the game. So I don't think I need Phantom. Maybe take Alchemist Retrieval as a form of interaction. And it's nice since we don't have a ton of cheap interaction in this deck. So Retrieval can make the cut. And another Nurturing Presence. Maybe we just play a million of these and get away with the deck. So yeah, maybe just a million Nurturing Presence, and that's fine. Take Rise of the Ants. This is the best card in the pack. Still pretty late. Yeah, our curve would just end at 5, honestly. Didn't care about the Phantom Carriage. It's just kind of clunky and slow. And this could be, again, another one of those hyper-aggressive decks with early 1-drops that I probably don't need. For example, I already have a Larder Zombie. This is going to be a rough deck to build, honestly. I think we just want as much balance as possible. Not sure about Piercing Light. Drown Yard is interesting too. Drown Yard Amalgam can mill ourselves. So this is a kind of a questionable deck again. Why is it so difficult sometimes building these decks? So annoying. I'll just take out the maybe cards and then keep the ones that I'm most likely to want. Like these 4 interaction spells I like. I'm definitely playing the rest of these. Ominous Roost depends on how many stuff we have to get back from the graveyard, which we do have a couple of. But we just want to get... So when you have a lot of playables in draft and in limited, you just want to get the core base line of what you know for sure you want to play, and then cut all the maybes, and then try to build from there and see how you can maximize the power level of your core baseline. So let's see. Let's just put these two aside. I'm happy playing all this. So let's see. Yeah, Nurturing Presence is just very good, right? In these decks that are looking to make multiple 1/1 flyers. I definitely like Lunar and Imprisonment. So this is our core base, so we just need to add like 6 more cards into the library. I can see not taking the Selhoff Tumor. Like, I know it has good synergy with Disturb, but it's like we do have good 2s already, and I don't mind just trading these off, to be honest, to get back from the graveyard. It can be kind of awkward too if they're already on the battlefield and Selhoff Tumor doesn't get to discard anything. So maybe I can see the argument of not having Selhoff. In terms of our deck, it could just be another aggressive variant. We're actually more mid-rangey, it feels like. We're just like... We could have the early game pressure from the turn 1 Lantern Bearers into Nurturing Presence, but then we might need some ways to stall the ground and interact with the opponent's threats to eventually just close out and fly. So I'm actually liking the bounce spells in this deck. So if that's the case, what do we want the final cards to be? I do like Scattered, but it might not be necessary in this deck. Same with the Drowner Amalgam, because they're mostly like value cards. The Ominous Roost I can still see playing, because the thing about Ominous Roost is that even though it is a long grindy card, we might have enough Disturb and things to get back from the graveyard to trigger this, and then this can just get out of hand. So let's see, we have Mirrorhall Mimic that can come back, Catilda that can maybe come back, Dennick, Castaway Infantry, and Double Lantern Bearer seems pretty good. So we could just introduce Omnis Roost as another way to potentially make a bunch of 1/1 flyers to go along with Nurturing Presence. And in a sense, the Binding Geist also could be main deckable, since we don't have many 3s that we're interested in playing. Like, the 3s I'm interested in playing are Binding Geist and Omnis Roost, but I'm not a big fan of the Ritual Guardian, and we're kind of lacking some 3-mana play, so I could just throw in Omnis Roost and Binding Geist just to have some earlier plays on turn 3. This leaves us with 4 more cards that we could consider adding in. The Dawnhard Geist can gain us some life, but I don't really care that much. We have Catilda already, Dennick, and I think the Heron of Hope is just a better way to gain life over the Dawnhard's Geist. And yeah, given that the fact that we're looking to win the game in the air, I don't actually hate the Heron of Hope, actually, on turn 4. Just extra 2 Heron of Hopes could be nice. And then there's an argument for a Supernatural Rescue now, just to have more interaction, since we don't have a ton. 1, 2, 3, 4 is okay, and then the Sludge Monster can actually act as some interaction. But other than that, I could add in the extra Supernatural Rescue to again serve as a way to tap things down, and then just get in some attacks. And then now what? Could play Blessed Defiance just to be kind of cute. I mean, the card also overperforms, it gains us life, and we can also use it at instant speed for cheap and then trade it off, and then we still get a Spirit Token, which combos with the Patrician Geist pretty nicely. Yeah, you know what, actually let's try the Blessed Defiance here. It's pretty nice. It doesn't really protect our creature, but in a sense it kind of protects our creature. Gives us a little bit of value going, and then it also lowers our curve so we don't have to have too much expensive stuff. And then the final card we can add, could add Piercing Light, which is okay. Could just add another 5-drop flyer that can help us close out. Could add Startled just to have another trick like Blessed Defiance. So some interesting cards. I think if we're going to go for 5 drops, I like the Heron Blessed Geist over Drowner and Amalgam, so I'm going to put this here right now. Just as an option. I can, in terms of 4 drops, I have a good amount of 4s already, but Scattered Thoughts could be a consideration as an extra 4-drop, just to help us draw a bit if we end up in these weird situations where we need card advantage. Could consider it Startled, which is again fine, but I already have Blessed Defiance as almost like a Startled, since I make a 1/1 flyer and gets value. This is also okay, but we have enough 2s. Large Zombie is also okay, but it's probably worse than Selhoff since you need 3 cards. Piercing Light could again be okay, but it seems underwhelming. I think it's between these 2 cards. And I'm probably leaning towards Scatter Thoughts here, just to again have more card advantage if we end up in these rough situations where we end up flooding out a bit. And it's also a 4-cost card, lot cheaper than 5. We shove again enough win conditions. Soul Guy Griff, Double Heron is nice. Mirrorhall Mimic can copy a flyer and go off. Patrician Geist, Omnis Roost, Binding Geist, not with Omnis Roost, gives me an extra enchantment to make flyers with. And, if we're going to be crapping out 1/1s, we don't necessarily need to exile Heron. Heron also just doesn't play well with Omnis Roost, since it's not a cast trigger. We do have a lot of enchantments to go along with it, though. But I'm kind of liking just the extra card advantage engine here, just in case we end up flooding. But we do have a lot of stuff to get back with Disturb, so it's also just kind of whatever. And this is kind of like a 5-drop, in a sense, if it ends up in the graveyard. 13 creatures, we should be fine, I think. In terms of raw power, I think Scatter Thoughts over Heron Blessed Geist is correct if I'm to do a pack 1 pick 1. So I guess we can just focus on raw power. So the most powerful cards in the sideboard would be like Startled, Geist, maybe Piercing Lights, which is, again, actually not that high of a pick. It's a nice ability to keep up for 2 mana, to be honest. Scar Thoughts was kind of clunky in our previous draft too. Like, the fact that this was a random 4 mana play was kind of clunky at times, and we were mostly just tapping out for our creatures early on, which is kind of interesting to note. So I could just, again, lower the curve and just throw in a random Piercing Light just to maybe play again, a much more aggressive deck. Funny enough, I don't think this card is by any means terrible, but does help us lower the curve, because the curve can get pretty clunky at 5. But I do need some card advantage, but again, we have value from Disturb. So it's very interesting. So we're going to be slightly favoring whites in this deck if it comes together. Yeah, we might need the card advantage. But for the most part, I'll be tapping out my creatures. Yeah, for the most part, I will be tapping out with my creatures and being aggressive, so just having a Piercing Light maybe to race against something could be fine. Like, this could just be, again, like the previous draft, where I'm not trying to grind necessarily, but just curve out and attack a bunch and try to end the game quickly before they deploy, like Dreadfeast Demon. So, yeah, probably like Scar Thoughts could be clunky, same with the Heron Blessed Geist. Let's give this a shot, see how it goes. And, yeah, Catilda, we were past Catilda, let's keep it as our poster child, and hope we make this happen. I know Piercing Light can be situational, but it's just so cheap and efficient. We have enough 4s already, 3s and 5s, that we don't care about having too much more. We don't care about having more expensive stuff. Organ Hoarder would have been nice, but we couldn't pass it over Mirror Hall Mimic. I think that's too much of a mistake. So opening hand, we have a 2-drop plus our 2 5-drops. So luckily we didn't keep the other expensive cards. We'll keep. On the draw, we can leave with the infantry, maybe trade off with Blessed Defiance. It makes a 1/1, and then we can eventually maybe enhance the 1/1 Flying Spirit 2, which can be kind of a cute play. But this card also overperformed in Crimson Vow. Yeah, that's a nice turn 1. So yeah, happy drawing Lantern Bearer. So black whites can be a life gain theme, can be a sacrifice theme, could just be a good stuff deck. Fine attacking for 1, and then also fine trading off the Drogskol infantry. Gavny Dawnguard is quite good. So I could attack, and if we trade, I don't have anything to cast, but this thing might transform, which is kind of annoying. Yeah, this is annoying. He might not block. I mean, I think he wants to block with the infantry. This also has Ward 1. So I don't know. I could just pass the turn or attack for 1. Maybe I'm fine attacking for 1, and then if he attacks with the Dawnguard, I can still Blessed Defiance and gain some value. So we'll let pass. I hate turning at nighttime, but I don't really have any good plays here. So opponent gets to generate some value. I'm fine blocking the 3/3 using Blessed Defiance to get rid of this, and hope he doesn't have any other annoying instances. Yeah, he could have an instant here to kind of blow me here, which is kind of dumb. But I'm hoping I can block the Dawnguard and get a trade up. Yeah, he probably has an instant, but I think we go for it, right? I mean, I can get blown out here. Yeah, I have to go for it. Otherwise, I'm just taking 5 per turn. Yeah, I think I go for this and hope it resolves. If not, then I get punished, but whatever. If it does, then I get to be happy. But yeah, okay, is it going to resolve? Alright, that's good. So now this can go, and I can enhance an aura onto maybe Lantern Bearer next turn. Paladin is annoying with the +1/+1 counters. It could bounce it for a turn as well, just to waste his turn. And then if he recasts it, I can nerf it. So as long as you put one or more 1/1 counters on their creature, it has trample and life link. So I'm probably just going to attack for 2. And then on his turn I bounce it. And then just play Sludge Monster and take it from there. Because I'm afraid he can put counters and distribute. Could take 4 actually. Yeah, I could just take 4 and then end of turn we bounce this. Or just bounce it now. I'll bounce it now, maybe just erase. And then hope he doesn't have a way to interact with Sludge Monster and kill it. So I just want to waste his time essentially. I could also bounce for 2 mana, but it'd be pretty mana inefficient. Yeah, let's just Sludge Monster this down and then attack. And then if we have land, that would be nice. Next turn we could attack with Sludge. Okay, Right is annoying. Alright, Whip, Rip, but I can at least exile the Aura next turn. Can even bounce maybe. I guess this can gain a counter next turn, so I might want to keep up the bounce effect, which is kind of important. I could also yeah, he could attack and train next turn. I can exile Rite of Oblivion. Rite of Oblivion is pretty annoying. I guess if he puts an Aura, I might want to bounce. He can train, but I can bounce the Sigarda's Paladin. Yeah, this is annoying. I think I actually put the Aura attack and then if he tries to train, we can bounce the Paladin, or we can bounce the pre-combat to prevent the training from happening. So if it goes to pre-combat, I'm going to bounce the Paladin here and waste his turn. Since he's stuck on mana, we can just do this. And then Candle Trap, that's annoying. Alright, at least he doesn't get to do much here. So now I can exile Rite of Oblivion, I have to imagine. And then attack for 1. Don't really care about the Aura. The Aura is annoying, but the Rite can also just deal with my flyers, which is kind of annoying, so I'll attack for 1. And then I can still block with the Lantern Bearer, funny enough. And then I'm fine. He doesn't have Coven, so he can't remove this. And then eventually we can play out the Covet's Castaway, and then maybe chump with it to turn it back into a flyer specimen. The opponent decides not to play Paladin, interestingly enough, so he might be keeping up an instant. Regardless, we're still going to attack with both. So hopefully nothing here to ambush us, but I think we have to attack. Retribution is annoying. Alright, so that slows us down, but we can still play out Heron, still play out Castaway, and then we should be fine. Sigo. This Sigardan Paladin can start gaining life too, which isn't ideal, but I can still set up a double block against it. And the attack here is interesting, so I think we want to block the 3/2 here and then just block the 1/1. And see what's up. So yeah, I guess we just give this lifelink and attack with both. And then maybe chump with Lantern Bearer or chump with Covetous Castaway. Opponent gets to gain 4. So I'm probably better off chumping here this turn. So yeah, let's see. I could keep blocking this, or I can just double block here. Yeah, I can probably block here and then use the Lantern Bearer as an extra chump blocker, but then he can eventually make into a creature. Probably just want to double chump here and then just get enough value going. hate the fact that he keeps gaining life, but I think we need to allow this to happen. And then I can also put everything into the graveyard for Disturb. Denick was really nice. Morning Patrol, so yeah, the fact that this keeps gaining life is a problem. Patrician Geist wasn't bad, so now we can play Patrician Geist, and then all of our spirits are going to cost 1 generic less. So I can get out Patrician Geist, and then we can just play a 4-drop, or just play Denick and play the Lantern Bear, I guess, which is also reasonable, and I want to enhance the Heron of Hope. And then I think we're attacking with both. And I don't know if I can kill him next turn. He can give his creature lifelink. Circle on my Patrician Geist, that's kind of bad. And then he can also give his creature +1/+1 and trample and lifelink. So yeah, we're not going to win this, I don't think. Guess I just take it. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, this sucks. Yeah, we'll take it. I guess it's still lethal? No, because this can gain life too. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Alright, is there any way I can stay alive? I guess I can make a blocker. Castigator here. Bring back my bounce spells. Maybe Blessed Defiance. I guess I just want my bounce spells. And then I guess I can give this lifelink an attack. And I still am alive, I guess. I can still block the Morning Patrol. Siggo. Can still chump block the 4/5, but I guess he can give them trample and lifelink. So either way, we're pretty much dead, I think. Yeah, we're just dead. I guess I can still block here and then chump since... Yeah, I guess I can chump this. I guess we'll be taking lethal regardless, so I can't afford to make any good blocks. Yeah, this card just got out of hand too quickly. And yeah, if he didn't have Circle, I think we might have ran away with the game, but yeah, this is just not good for me. Right, rip. I think we just lose here, I guess, and need to hope I draw into a bounce spell, perhaps. Lantern Bear. It's not going to do it, so yeah, that's unfortunate. Had a decent start too, but the Paladin was able to stabilize the opponent, so I even bounced it multiple times already, so it just couldn't race fast enough. Fortunately, he had to have the Perish Blade Trainee, which could have also gained Trample and Life Link. I did my best to waste this time, but it just wasn't quick enough. So that's a pretty disappointing first match. Let's hopefully make up for it. Yeah. Denick is very nice on turn 2 since, yeah, it just attacks very well. So luckily opponent doesn't have an amazing start. Pass away. Can play around Syncopate as well, so. Hopefully opponent doesn't counter my 4-drop. Biolumig is fine. I can also just kill Biolumig here, but just to prevent him from getting value from sacking. But, I mean, either way, if I kill this, he can always sack the Lantern Bear, which is kind of annoying. So I actually don't mind if he sacks to Biolumig eventually, since I can just take it out with Valorous Stance. And I just want to develop my 4-drop and be mana efficient, so we'll go for this. Gain some life, get him for 1, and then Heron can hold off the 1/1 flyer. It would be nice to maybe get the Lantern Bearer into the graveyard too, so I can exile it. Opponent does nothing. Alright, I guess we're just going to attack. I can also just play out the Soulguide Gryff for the hell of it, but he could also be keeping up a counterspell. Yeah, I think we just activate Heron and see what's up. Can still keep on my instances. And I can also Piercing Light on the Lantern Bearer next turn, and then exile with Soulguide Gryff if he decides to attack. So lots of interesting options. I think I deal with the Lantern Bearer if he attacks. Yeah, I'll Piercing Light. And I don't think I need another Plains, so we'll bomb it. And then if he tries to enhance Egg, it's fine. Cabal Fodder is also annoying, but luckily we can Soulguide Gryff now. Hope it doesn't get countered. And then get... What the heck? Oh shit, it made Hexproof. Oops, that was a misplay, but I can at least kill or shut down anything that he gives flying, so that was big oops. Didn't realize then it also just give all the cards Hexproof from the graveyard, so yeah, that sucks, but I still think it was correct maybe using all my mana to take out Lantern Bearer. And developing the Flyer here isn't the worst. Curse is interesting. So he gets to draw an extra card, but I can still start beating down still. Probably just want to use Sludge Monster and shut down Biolumig, because by doing so, if he decides to sacrifice it, it's pretty good. I can also Imprisonment and lock and Valor Stance, but I think Sludge Monster is better, just to get this out there, and then we just want to use it on Biolumig, so if he exploits it, he doesn't get to... I guess it's a 2-2, never mind. But either way, if he tries to exploit Biolumig, it still doesn't give him the 4-4, so I think I'm fine using Sludge Monster onto it. I need to read my cards. I keep forgetting. I thought this turns into like a 0/0 creature with no abilities. So not only does he need to deal with the Sludge Monster, but also my Flyers. And if any... Yeah. And if he tries a Lantern Bearer to make a blocker, we still have ways to deal with it, so... Bruno's annoying. And he might just Lantern Bearer here. But we can shut down both, I think. And then force him to chump. So opponent's just trying to play the card draw game. So now what's Supernatural Rescue? I guess can just tap 2 things down and force him to chump. Yeah, that's simple enough. Let's just cast a Rescue here. Yeah, and we'll just put on the Castaway to be annoying. Tap these 2 down. Move the combat, attack. And yeah, there's not much. The Curse is too slow. The problem with the Curse is that there's just too many creatures that just generate value in this format. And I mean in Midnight Hunt. Alright, that wasn't a bad match, but Curse, just wanted to mention, just too slow. Too much value to say you don't really want to tap out for 5 mana and do nothing. It's all about affecting the board. Man, this hand is great with white mana, but either way, if we can get turn 3 Ominous Roost down in Binding Geist, I'm down for this. I'm going to keep it and risk it. White mana will obviously be amazing, but if we can't, we can still hopefully get a 3rd land. And we get white mana, ask and you shall receive. Let's play Dennick. And then I think we want to leave it Binding Geist since Ominous Roost is like better later. Slaughter Specialist, so we can't really attack. We do get a resource here. Ooh, interesting. Patrician Geist is also interesting here. I could Nurturing Presence and just attack. Could Ominous Roost as well. Maybe Binding Geist is fine, and I'm fine using Binding Geist to maybe block the Slaughter Specialist. Opponent does give me a resource with a Slaughter Specialist, so this card isn't amazing. Best in a black-red where you're trying to be hyper-aggressive, and 3-powered, 3-toughness creature is quite good. Yeah, I'm down to just attack with a Binding Geist and see if he has anything. And if he has a trick, we can use Valorous Stance to maybe protect one of our key creatures. So probably see a Wolf Strike here, Duel for Dominance. I can just give my creature Indestructible. Yeah, I think I do. Just so, I mean, I could let Resolve actually, and then just kill Slaughter Specialist actually. So I'm actually going to let it Resolve, funny enough. And then, I guess it's still at 2 toughness. So never mind, I guess we just let damage happen. And then we could just play Ominous Roost and get the train going. I can also play Patrician Geist. I think we play Ominous Roost and then we can Valorous Stance the 2-2 later. The 4-4, I mean. Rejuvenator is interesting. Surprised if the opponent doesn't decide to attack. Alright, I'll take 4. Could take out Rejuvenator to be annoying, actually. Could also just play Denic. I guess we can Valorous Stance and use Nurturing Presence. I could Valorous Stance on the 2-4, honestly. Am I afraid? I mean, this might just help him race, but this is also annoying since it allows him to ramp. I'm not sure here. Maybe it is just a Mana Dork, and then maybe we can outrace the opponents. I mean, this slows him down significantly, but the 4-4 is a problem. We can chump the 4-4 over and over. Yeah, let's... Maybe we take the risk here. I don't know. This is a problem. They're both problems. Let's just be safe and kill Specialists, I think. And this way I can still attack with all, and since this can give Neg 2 Nego, even if he blocks the 3-1, I still get to get in for the extra damage. So, very interesting turn. Mulch to hit his lands, okay, sure. Opponent's deck doesn't seem too scary. Broodweaver is annoying. So now what? Griff into Patrician Geist could be a thing. I guess I can attack with Binding Geist to shut this down for the turn. So I guess I'm fine playing the Soul Guy Griff first. To trigger and pump my creature, and then exile probably the Weaver. And then I can still attack with all and blank the Broodweaver here. So this might force the opponent to stay back now. And then we can still play Patrician. Ooh, oh, come on. Are you kidding me again? Come on. Really? We have a powerful synergistic deck and you have a drop a Dreadfeast Demon in front of us. Yeah, this is how it works. I guess that's a reason to draft the worst 2 color combinations. Just have a Dreadfeast Demon and play on turn 6. Alright. Double feature. I guess we won't be making up for our blue-white deck from the last draft, but, you know, still a good deck, but, you know, just drop a Dreadfeast Demon and win the game. That's how the format works, I guess, now. That was a fun game. If he didn't drop the Dreadfeast Demon, why do they always have to have it when I'm doing well? Alright, I guess it's not payback anymore. We're just gonna lose and hope we pack 1, pick 1, a Dreadfeast Demon. Overall, still a fun format. Yeah, Lantern Bear and a Nurturing Presence, and hope they don't drop Dreadfeast Demon. And then, yeah, we have a pretty explosive start. Infantry could be interesting, But probably still play Nurturing Presence, although I could do it next turn. Yeah, I could do it next turn and just add more power. Could do it next turn with Lantern Bearer and Nurturing Presence, that will hit a lot harder. Or use on a ground creature, we'll see. So first things first, let's Nurturing Presence. And hope it resolves. Could see a bounce spell. Ambush, that's rude, okay. But it's still an aura we can get back later, and then we can still play Lantern Bearer and attack for 2. So didn't get punished that much. Biolumeg, alright, that's a good one too. So if we miss a land, we probably want to Lantern Bearer on the infantry and start attacking and flying over. Katilda is also quite good as well. Alright, I guess we're gonna Heron just to be mana efficient and then attack for 1. The more aggressive stance will be the Lantern Bearer, but the Heron adds more pressure. And he still needs to... Ooh, sacrifices Biolumeg for Grafted Identity. Alright, damn. Yeah, this is the crazy stuff you can see in this format. I guess I can bounce back my own Heron of Hope now. Yeah, let's just do that. So we can at least not fall too far behind. Alright, at least that's out of the way, and then we can still attack for 1. We'll be taking 4, but then we might need to just race with Lantern Bearer. That was rude. That was rough. I just didn't want him... I mean, I could have just tapped out for Katilda, maybe, and said that turn up next turn, or Heron. I think I maybe overreacted a bit. I guess I can also 1 mana. No, he would have controlled it, so even if I did that, it would have been pretty bad. I guess we attack for 1. Could see a flash creature. Yeah, he could have Stormrider Spirit, so I think I just pass and play Heron of Hope. He could also use a counter, but it could be Stormrider Spirit here, end of turn. Since he's passing with turn 5 doing nothing is kind of awkward. Find the Exile here. Again, surprise the opponent didn't attack with Biolumeg. I think he should be attacking at this stage. Next turn we can still Lantern Bearer onto infantry, play Nurturing Presence, or just play Dennick. But let's lead with the Nurturing Presence on Lantern Bearer and hope it resolves. And then let's try to play Dennick and smash for 3. So yeah, this deck looks pretty insane, but luckily the opponent isn't doing much. And then we can still attack for 3, and this is a creature he has to deal with eventually, so. Now he can't mess with my graveyard. Green, so interesting. Hope he doesn't drop Dreadfeast Demon. Could see a bounce spell. No bounce spell, okay, no revenge. Shallowby Sighting is fine. And then we can still Lantern Bearer onto infantry to apply more pressure to try to end the game quickly. I'm fine taking 4. Could even get Katilda down to start gaining life too. Lunar Rejection is interesting. Could also Lunar Rejection to 4/4 token in attack. Maybe that's fine. Just to be more aggressive, and then... Either way, I'm still tapping out here. Could see a stupid Protect Corpse Combo, sure. Still makes a 4/4. Alright, I guess we'll just attack for 2, and maybe we need to set up a double block. Double block on the 4/4. One of our creatures will still be alive at least. Then it can come back from the yard. Yeah, we need to double block, I think, otherwise we're just taking too much. Let's go. Could also see a second Corpse Cobble. Maybe he has an instant here that can deal with the infantry and blow me out. Which he probably does. Okay, he doesn't, so at least that's taken care of. We gain some life. And then could just play Katilda next turn and hope she doesn't get removed. And I can even chump block with a 2/2 if I want to. If he tries to mess with my graveyard. Yeah, I guess he can now since Dennick is gone. So yeah, he probably has a Diregraph Horde or a Rotten Reunion here. Which is kind of annoying. Celestis is okay. Surprised he tapped out for it and didn't develop the board. But he could just be holding up another instant here to mess with my graveyard. Dryad's Revival, okay, just to bring back the removal spell. He can use that instant speed. If I play out Catilda, he won't be able to take out Catilda, funny enough. So I don't want to play out any of these spirits since they can end up dying, so I'm going to run out Catilda. And then I'm fine attacking with all. If he takes out one of my spirits here, I can eventually again disturb it back, and I still have a 5/5 that can gain me a ton of life, so I'm okay with this exchange. Takes out my Lantern Bearer, opponent takes 3. He can Dryad's Revival and get back Bleed Dry, I guess. Or I guess he can get back Grafted Identity, but that's going to be a lot of mass, so he probably needs to get back Olivia's Midnight Ambush, I think, to just stay alive here. Yeah, so he can't Dryad's Revival and Grafted Identity since that's a ton of mana. Yeah, don't want to eat, Mom. I'm good. So maybe I should have considered 1, 2... So that's 5 mana. Yeah, he would need an extra mana, I guess, to get the Grafted Identity. He would need to sack his Biolumig, but it's only going to be a 1/1 if he decides to sack. He does have the Grafted Identity play, which is okay, but it's still going to cost him, and it's still going to... this is only going to be a 1/1 on this side, so it's still not good. Okay, Bleed Dry, never mind, so he gets to exile my 3/3 instead, but it's okay, I guess, since I can still fly over and attack. So I'll take 4, and then... yeah, we could just pump up our team, I guess. So this is fine. And then I think we just want to spread the love. And then this way, both of these are still lethal threats next turn, even if he uses the Celestis to gain a life. I guess he can still go up to 3, so if he has a removal spell plus the loot effect from Celestis to gain a life, he could still stay alive here. But the opponent needs to top deck something good this turn. If he takes out infantry, I can still put an aura, use it as an aura, so yeah, blue-white just has all these good 2-for-1s. Yeah, the turn where he Grafted Identity on the egg was really rough. Maybe I shouldn't have overreacted and maybe just taken the damage and then use the Alchemist Retrieval on another mana-efficient turn, but... Mulch, alright. Nothing good in the graveyard, so we're good. I mean, the opponent can still activate Celestis, but it should be game over. I guess he can still loot with the Celestis to maybe find something that can answer the 3/3. So a cool multicolor deck from the opponent. Probably discard a land. Ooh, okay. I mean, he can't cast it because he needs 5 mana, and that's only 4, so we should be good here. And yep, good games. Very close, and we can even gain life with Blessed Defiance if we want to, so, or use it to attack past the Covetous Castaway, so. Some of these games are pretty clutch. If Dennick was still on the battlefield, it could have given the graveyard hexproof, but I think we had to double block the 4/4 Menace, otherwise we were just taking too much. And the opponent could just outrace us. So 2-2, not the best start. So I'm hoping I can hit another home run with this blue-white deck, like we almost did with our first draft. So yeah, let's do it again. Two drop, okay, and then we can even play a 4-drop eventually. Death Sprout, I guess, on turn 1 if he has one. Dig Up, interesting, so opponent's going to go multicolor. Another multicolor green deck. Or maybe 2 colors, but just trying to find a second source. But you wouldn't main deck Dig Up, I don't think, if you're trying to splash. We'll love Traveling Minister in this deck with double Heron of Hope as well. Alright, infantry. Next turn I could just Nurturing Presence onto infantry, so then we can make a 1/1 token. Or just play Castaway and wait. Reclusive Taxidermist, so that can't really... Right, might be down to just Nurturing Presence in attack, just to have the 1/1 flyer now that the opponent could just ramp and do something big. So let's just get in some extra damage here and attack for 3. Next turn I could even consider double spelling, Presence, and Covetous Castaway if we get our 4th land drop. Would be pretty decent as well. So opponents find Swamp and plays another Swamp, so maybe it's just a straight up black-green deck and the opponent just wanted to dig for a land. So yeah, interesting. Catilda, wish I could cast it. I think we just Castaway, I guess, just to be safe. Could also Presence on the 1/1, but then if we lose it, it's going to be a problem, so I think we leave with the Castaway and then just attack for 4. Capo could also be holding up an instant to interact with infantry, maybe block and use a pump spell. But I still think I'm fine exchanging if he does so, since we can always disturb out the aura later. And it's just too risky playing a second Nurturing Presence into open mana. So, yeah. Grasp, alright. So yeah, luckily I didn't play Nurturing Presence, otherwise this would have been an issue, but... So opponent is splashing for white, so he had the plains all along. Just need to hit more lands, honestly, and we should be okay. Cemetery Protector. Exiling Drogskol Infantry is a problem, so I can't really afford to... So yeah, now he can just make 1/1s all day, so I do need to race. So if I need to race, I can play Dawnheart here. Maybe Catilda into Nurturing Presence could be a good turn for us. Although it's just going to be 2 power, so I think I'm just going to play Heron just to be mana efficient and then just attack for 1. Could always chump block the Protector, but maybe it's too early. I guess I can always shut down the Cemetery Protector for a turn with Sludge Monster. So yeah, this was not a bad splash. Jaren is pretty good, although he needs to be at 13 life to transform this. So opponent can just go wide and make a bunch of 1/1s, but I can just block them with the 1/3 all day, so I could still outrace him, I think. Ragged Recluse, gonna make more 1/1s. But I still have, again, good blocks and good life linkers. Opponent decides not to attack with the 3/4, funny enough. So I can attack with both. What happens? This puts him down to 14, I have to imagine. So if he goes up to 13, he can... yeah, if he goes up to 13, he can transform this eventually. But, so I could Sludge Monster and shut down the 2/3 instead, just to prevent him from doing any shenanigans. Because I don't really care if the opponent's going wide. I don't think this is a go wide pump trick deck, so I'm fine just playing out Sludge Monster, maybe locking down Jaren. And hoping this is enough. The 5/5 can play defense. Eventually we can set up Catilda and then Nurturing Presence to get in a huge attack. If I get white mana, I think I'm just going to activate Heron and then play Catilda and attack. Since I do want to get the bonus from Catilda, having Nurturing Presence the same turn to get in for a ton, or I can just play Nurturing Presence anyway, since Catilda is going to be the same stat line. Seraph is fine. I guess all of his creatures gain Death Touch now. So that's a problem, but at least I'm transformed this before everything happens, so I think I will be taking a lot this turn. So all of his attacking creatures gain Death Touch, which is a problem, but he decides not to attack, so I guess now we can just be hyper-aggressive and punish him. So yeah, why not? Let's just get crazy here and yeah, could Heron. Heron getting the extra life isn't bad. Let's just Heron here. And then Katilda is going to be quite large, so it's going to be hard for him to attack too. And hope the opponent doesn't have a removal spell. So, just going to try to be hyper aggro here. Can gain a ton of life next turn. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so we can put him down to 1. I'm fine if the opponent attacks with all. We should still be okay. The Sludge Monster can also block, but I'm hoping the opponent doesn't have any more life gain or anything crazy. But his deck is pretty scary. So I think I just take it if he attacks. And then we can still gain a ton of life and still be okay. All of his creatures can have Death Touch when they're tapped, so I don't necessarily want to block. I could always block with the Covetous Castaway, I guess, to just put in the yard and then bring it back out as a spirit. I guess if I bring it out as a spirit, it's lethal, since that'll be 4, 5, 6... It'll be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 if I have the spirit on the battlefield. So I think I'm actually going to block with the Covetous Castaway. And then just block the Ragged Recluse and offer to trade. Opponent decides to attack. I think I just block with Castaway, I have to imagine. And then just take it, and then Jaren doesn't trigger because all of his abilities are locked down. And this way, we will have another Spirit to enhance Katilda next turn. And that should just be lethal. So I think I just need to go for it, otherwise he just kills me next turn. And hope he doesn't have anything. Opponent is probably just roping me, so he can maybe try to scare me into not attacking, but I'm going to attack with all if I'm have to imagine that's the right move. Infestation Expert's fine. Alright, good games. Very close, but we got him. We even have Blessed Defiance, so yeah, let's just play this. And yeah, you can just... Luckily we were able to... luckily the opponent didn't attack. I think there was some turns he should have attacked with the Cemetery Protector to get my life low. But we just had an air army that he couldn't compete with, so... That was a close one. So 3 wins. We still have a long way to go. A really long way. Alright. Not the best. The first draft was very close, but obviously we just got pwned by the last 3 games. It was really sad because, you know, we lost because... First game we lost was because we didn't get our second color. Third game we lost was because of Dreadfeast Demon. Fourth game was we just drew too many lands. This hand's alright. We have Infantry... Heron, Sludge. Let's try it. Lantern Bearer on 1, so opponent's going to copy us. Fair enough. Shipwreck Sifter is a pretty good card if you can in Midnight Hunt. Hopefully it doesn't discard a Spirit or Disturb card. Otherwise I'll be taking 3. Okay, just a land, that's fair enough. Infantry can now block the Shipwreck Sifters. And I probably keep this back since I'm taking more damage from the flyer and I don't want to take too much on the way back. So luckily, yeah, the opponent just I guess in blue-black exploit, but playing the Shipwreck Sifters. Patrician Geist, I guess, can now enable an attack. But if I do attack, the problem is he can just block this and then attack me back for 2, so I'm probably just going to stay back here. Firmament Sage is decent, so we just want to make sure it doesn't transform into daytime, nighttime, so we can attack for 2. And then play Heron of Hope. Sludge Monster can shut down Firmament Sages eventually, or even shut down the Lantern Bearer. If it loses all ability, I guess, yeah, you can still disturb it from the graveyard, so very interesting card. I could shut this down just to get rid of the flyer. I can also shut down the Firmament Sage, I can also shut down the Siege Zombie. The Lantern Bearer being able to jump and give a creature flying is annoying. I think we just shut down the Lantern Bearer here. Hope he doesn't have a counter spell. And just try to outrace him. He can obviously attack with 2 for it, but I'm just fine having him not having the ability to jump. Opponent can keep draining me. Supernatural Rescue can be kind of cute. Maybe I can use it to tap down 2 creatures and attack next turn. But I probably want to put it onto a flyer. Okay, opponent gets to draw a card. And we just didn't draw anything great, so I think we're just going to activate Heron and attack. Could have used that instant speed. If he flashes in the creature, we can tap it down with Supernatural Rescue. So we'll just let damage happen and then play a Covetous Castaway. And then, yeah, hopefully we can take over the skies. Heron is helping us stabilize pretty well. But I can't really afford to attack with Sludge. It doesn't really accomplish anything. Ludovic is okay. Card I don't care about too much. And there's nothing in the yard that can really make it into a 4/4 flyer by any means. So just another random threat that I'm happy that he has. Ominous Roost is nice, so yeah, we'll just play land, activate Heron, attack for 4, play Ominous Roost. And again, if he has another flash creature, we have Supernatural Rescue to tap down with. And yeah, we're just going to win by flying over. And yeah, more disturbed creatures in your yard, the better. So opponent has usually the blue-black deck. Yeah, it's not the most optimal blue-black deck. Shipwreck Sifters isn't the card I care about too much. Same with Ludovic. Firmament Sage also I don't think is that great. It's worse than Organ Hoarder and Revenge of the Drowned. Yeah, this card is like whatever. It's worse than Scattered Thoughts. It's just too clunky, I think, his deck. He does have some reasonable like other cards, but for the most part, it's not the most optimal from what I've experienced in the set. And Supernatural Rescue has been overperforming in these blue-white decks, funny enough. Interestingly enough, I mean, it's not a high pick, but in blue-white it's fine. Usually in Crimson Vow, you're just going to fill up the 4-drop with enough Scatter Thoughts and Repository Scatter Thoughts and Heron of Hopes, and Crow Witnesses that you don't have room to put Supernatural Rescue. But in this format, when both things are combined, and you are more interested in just having a linear strategy, then it's quite good. So just one more win and we can make up most of our gems. And maybe, yeah, just end the video. But kind of sad that we got swept the first draft. I have to say. And in this one, the first game we lost was over another better blue-white deck, and then the second one was a Dread Feast Demon out of nowhere. So this hand is whatever. Yeah, we don't have our white mana. Mirror Hall's turn 4. I think it's a mulligan. This hand also isn't amazing, but I think it's a keep. Might have the bomb Sludge Monster, funny enough, since it's just so clunky at 5 and we just have a really early start. Stance isn't amazing, or Cigar's Imprisonment, but we might need a removal in this game, so yeah, I think we bomb Sludge, or I can imagine maybe on turn 5 we plop down Sludge, but it's pretty mana inefficient, so I'll just discard bottom the Sludge and hope I get there. Can't really go down to 5 with blue-white's aggro. Luckily the opponent also mulligans, so hitting our lands, so we might get punished for bombing the 5-drop, but again, the efficiency of these two cards are just a lot better. Slaughter Specialists, I might just want Imprisonment immediately, which I don't mind, since I have nothing else better to do, and I can smash for 1. This farmer is quite good. Alright, just a straight up black-green deck, nothing too amazing. Again, black-green is the color I tend to avoid, unless you have Dread Feast Demon. Gluttonous Guest can gain him a bit of life, but that's okay, I can swing back for some life as well. I could also Valor Stance on Gluttonous Guest, but I want to save this for something bigger and scarier, so yeah, let's just activate Heron. I can also exile Slaughter Specialist to make a blood, but I think we're going to develop the Lantern Bearer and keep up Valorant Stance this turn, so we'll attack for 2, gain 2, and then play out Lantern Bearer. So holding up priority with the blood token, but that's okay. Not really scared of it, and there's some blood generators in black, but there's not like a ton, so I'm not really worried about Gluttonous Guest gaining him the extra life. Next turn I could consider exiling Imprisonment and keeping on my mana just so I can make the blood end of turn to discard any potential lands. Knife is interesting. If he knifes on Gluttonous Guest, I might consider cutting it, but if it's just a Centric Farmer, we're just going to take it, I think. Or I can block and just use Piercing Light, actually, which isn't all that bad, since this 1/1 doesn't do anything. So you know what, I'm actually going to block, and then before damage, we're going to Piercing Light just to get rid of this farmer. And then we can bomb the land and get some value, so opponent still makes a blood, but at least we don't take 3. Specialist, I'm hoping he can't get rid of my Imprisonment. I'm fine if he equips on a Gluttonous Guest, we can still outrace it. Right, we'll just exile now. Just be mana efficient. Make a blood, and then we can keep land in hand to discard next turn, and then attack for 3. I guess this is an annoying combo, because he can just keep gaining life with the blood, so maybe I do need to Valor Stance this Gluttonous Guest. It's kind of annoying. Yeah, this is really annoying. The fact that he can just sack it for blood and then keep making blood is kind of annoying. Although I might want to Valor Stance to 4/4 instead, so let's lead with sacrificing the blood. Soulguide Gryff, I guess, is better to play it out just to be more mana efficient. And then I could keep the Lantern Bearer as a chump blocker. Opponent can gain up to 2 life, so I might need to still attack with Heron. So yeah, let's just exile the Shadow Beast Sighting. And then I think I keep back the Lantern Bearer just to chump, or hold off the Gluttonous Guest. I can probably have to take 5 with the Beast. Yeah, I could chump and make this into an aura. Morbid Opportunist, that's a bomb, so I don't want to chump, otherwise he just draws a card. I can still double block the Gluttonous Guest, and that's okay. Alright, I'll take 5 here. And then, yeah, I might need to kill this just because he can gain so much life to offset my deck. So we probably need to do the all-in play here. Yeah, let's Heron here. And then just kill the Gluttonous Guest on the stack when he decides to gain life. Right. And then... Yep, let this happen. And then we don't want him untapping, so I think we kill it now before it just keeps gaining him life. Because I think the only way we can win now is to race him in the air because he's just drawing so much value. We kind of just need to kill him quickly by flying over, so... This card was pretty annoying, so maybe I should have killed it earlier. But now we can get enough life to kind of offset the damage that we're taking. And this is still a 2-turn clock. The fact that the opponent keeps looting with the Ceremonial Knife is also a problem, since he can eventually just draw into his removal and bombs. So yeah, could just be game over. But I think this is my highest chances of actually winning. Millipede, okay. Alright, a lot of creatures, holy crap. So I probably need to chump the 7/7 next turn. And hope I get lucky, and yeah, we just keep drawing lands. So we definitely need to chump the Millipede and attack for 5 this turn, and hope we don't die. 12, 13, I guess we can still stay alive. But I think just to be safe, we might want to keep the chump blocker back. And this way it's still 2-turn clock. So we'll say go. Could also just take it. Just because by taking it, this denies him a card draw, which can eventually draw him to an out as well. So it might be reasonable to actually take the damage from the Molcraft Millipede. Yeah, he needs answers for my flyers. So he's gonna use this end of turn. I don't think I chump actually. 12, 13, because he would need like a 3 damage effect to kill me, which there's not a ton of in black green. So I think we actually take it just to be safe. Otherwise, he gets to draw 2 cards, one from the Ceremonial Knife and then one from Lantern Bearer dying. So I just need to hope and pray he doesn't draw into anything. Yeah, let's just take it. I don't think we block. I just don't want to give him any outs. So we kind of have to risk it here. Alright, it's only 2. That's not lethal. 8, 9. Yeah, that's not lethal. We're down to 1, so... Alright, that wasn't lethal, so luckily he didn't have another pump trick. So opponent can still loot and maybe find something here. And blood packs me. Alright, good games. That was a good one. Alright. That was, yeah, yeah, I would have survived if he didn't have that. Alright, rip. Couldn't get 7-0, but, yeah, drafted some 2 decent decks so far. Probably fire off another draft. It is getting kind of late here, I suppose. But I think the best outs was not to block, since it was highly unlikely that he had all that burn damage in black-green. Black-green is mostly a type of grind deck. It's not trying to, yeah, burn the opponent out with a card like, you know, the Howl of the Hunt. But either way, yeah, we couldn't redeem ourselves, so rip. And I'm just going to leave it there, maybe just do another draft video after this, save up my gold for a Kamigawa Neon Dynasty quick draft. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, in the meantime, stay safe and have a wonderful day. Bye.